Welcome to the Pop-Off with Gene FitzMagic and friends. Your daily sports and entertainment radio show, live all over the world. You're going to want to hear what these guys have to say. With their hot takes, recaps, previews, and predictions, sometimes these guys might get along, but most times, they won't. So see what happens when these guys pop off about the world of sports and entertainment.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Wednesday, April 19th. This is the Pop-Off Show, and I am Gene, and I'm joined by Caleeb Pinkett, Abby Washington, and Katrina Johnson. How you guys doing?
Good.
So good. I'm good.
We got a lot of stuff to talk. A lot of NFL. We've been doing a lot of NBA. We got a lot of NFL today. We got some Jet stuff, so I know Abby will be happy about that, or lack thereof, because some of it's not great news. In fact, most of it's not great news. But you know what? A ton of good playoff games. None of them really were close at the end yesterday. But maybe set the tone for some good series is evening them up. Overall, before we get into individual games, how did you feel about the overall NBA experience yesterday, Caleeb?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was great. I mean, the teams that were supposed to win won. You know what I mean? Cleveland needed to win. You saw what Phoenix was able to do last night that I think was absolutely needed, because if they would have went down 2-0, that would have been very bad. And all over the news media today, they'd be killing Kevin Durant. Not Chris Paul, but Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? So
as they should, though. I mean, that's the fair assessment there.
Oh, well, you know, I definitely get it. I mean, it's KD, but let me tell you something. Kawhi Leonard is balling. Kawhi is doing it. And it's so funny. Kawhi, he's from my city. I'm from Reno Valley, California, IE. And he's from there. And his sister I used to go to school with, high school. And it's hilarious because I'm like I'm kind of like partial to him. Like I want to see Kawhi do good, but he only plays like 30% of the time.
Mr. Load management.
So, yeah, but at least when he does play, he's balling. So I got to give him that. But yeah, it was great. So I'm looking forward to see the Lakers play tonight. I want to see, because I think that series is over. I don't think Memphis can win without Ja, and I don't think they can win with Ja, to tell you the truth. I think they're missing their middle. Steven Adams is such an integral part of that team in the middle, playing defense, rebounding, just changing shots. Without him, I think it's a losing effort. And with Ja now even being hurt with his shooting hand, it's
some tough sledding. So you know we're gonna start actually with the Knicks. Cavs tie the series up 1-0, beating Knicks 107-90. There we go. It was that second quarter that did the Knicks in, man. That second quarter where they got mollywopped and doubled up. I'll tell you what the problem I think with the Knicks is right now. No Grimes, no Quickly, and no Barrett so far in the series is definitely hurting them. They haven't yet to really show up. Quickly, I think, had 12 points yesterday, but it was not your typical Quickly 12 points. It was a very quiet 12 points. And here's the other thing I'm scared of. You get Garland. Garland gets hot, and he'll stay hot for the rest of the series. I'm afraid of Garland on the Cavaliers getting hot and really taking over the series. We all know what Mitchell's going to do. He's going to put up his 30-plus points a game anyway. Levert, I know he had a big game yesterday. Not scared of him. He's too streaky of a player. He can go for 30 one day and then go for 3 the next. I'm not worried about him.
That's right.
But Darius Garland, man, if you get him on a roll and he catches on fire, he can be scary. Caleeb, what do you think?
Oh, no, I totally agree. I mean, yeah. And Cleveland has been on fire this whole season. Like they got a really good team, and the addition of Donovan only made them stronger. But the Knicks surprised everybody. Nobody expected the Knicks to be as good as they are and doing what they're doing in the playoffs. But I expected this to be one of the best series. Like how I think it's equivalent to the Suns and Clippers on the West Coast is this one, because they're like kind of evenly matched and very, very, good players on both sides. So the games are way more competitive. So I agree completely. But we'll see what happens at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks have to show up. They have to.
It's a different animal. Randall even said, he goes, "What do you expect at the Garden? It's the Garden. It's the Garden." Abby, what do you expect at the Garden?
I mean, to be honest, we already know I could care less about any of the other teams playing. I'm just focused on the Suns. But, I mean, I'll support the Knicks simply because I don't have no issue with them. They're another New York team. I'm obviously a huge New York Jets fan, and a lot of New York Jets fans are the Knicks. But, I mean, Madison Square Garden, that's center stage. You have to show up.
Right.
Yeah. I expect quickly to bounce back in game 3. I'm looking forward to him actually having a little bit of a bounce back game. You know what? Grimes is a streaky player. He'll come out of nowhere, have a big game, but Barrett needs to step up. Barrett's one of these guys that we gave a big contract last offseason. This is where he's got to start earning it a little bit. Had a really regression type season, and hopefully he can start putting it together and surprise us come playoff time. Katrina, what are you excited about with this series?
Well, I'm not excited about Phoenix.
No.
I don't know. I know some of the Phoenix players, they don't do it for me.
What about the New York Knicks?
The Knicks, I'm down for. I think
All
that's
right.
going to be good. I think they're going to ball out. Madison Square Garden, I think they're ready. I think they're going to be fantastic.
Have you ever been to an event in the Garden, Katrina?
Yes.
Is it not such one of the most electric? Has anybody else been to the Garden for an event?
It's incredible. It's incredible. Like, you'll never feel so alive.
Caleb and Ali, have you guys ever been to the Madison Square Garden for an event? Whether it be a
Yes,
concert or a game, it's
Yeah.
such an electric arena. It's like I don't know if they pump the arena with something that gets the vibe going, but that arena has such a vibe when things are clicking, man. I remember I was at the first game Carmelo was a Knick, and you could just feel the electricity. It was like it felt like a Game 7 NBA Finals game. That's what it felt like in the Garden, and it was just Carmelo's first game. It was actually. We got those seats. We got those tickets before we even knew Carmelo was going to be a Knick. We got them for my son's first Knick game, and then I found that I could flip them for like 10 times the price. And I was like, should we do it? 10 times, it's a lot of money. And then we ended up keeping them, and it was an experience like none other. So I was glad we did it. But you know what? We expected a little bounce back for the Knicks in the Garden, Caleb.
Oh, 1,000%, without question. I think they're going to win game 3, and if they don't, it's a problem because, it's about momentum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like teams have to get the momentum. It's like how important it's going to be for Golden State to win game 3, right?
Yeah.
Well, not only because they'll be down 3-0, but the idea is just there's a momentum that goes with wins and sometimes losses and that whole thing. Like the Clippers against Phoenix, they didn't lose any momentum losing that game. Like they're like, we're good. We're like the series starts now. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
It's like it's that kind of thing. So the Knicks cannot afford to lose game 3 at Madison Square Garden.
No,
because
I
if
agree.
Cleveland goes in and wins the first game, it's the momentum is changed, and it can really, really, really impact the players on how they play. Because it's a mental thing. Once you think they got you, that's it.
Yeah, I agree. And so far Brunson's had a good series. Randall's been pretty decent, but we need a third guy to step up and bring that series home. I'd like to see them involve Mitchell Robinson a little bit more into the offense. They never do. They didn't do it all season. I know that's been a bane of contention with him. He's been wanting to get more involved. I mean, right now I don't think anybody's expecting it. Right now, run some plays for him to get involved with the offense because when he does shoot the ball, he does hit. So I would like to see them do something with that, but we'll see. Game. I believe Friday night is game 3 at the Garden. So headline 2: Celtics go up 2-0, beating the Hawks 119-106. Are we surprised about this, Abby?
No.
There's really not much to say about this
overrated.
game.
I was watching what's his name from the Hawks? Why am I blanking on his
Trae
name
Young.
right now? Yes, and it was it's funny, there was a post and I forgot what page posted it, SportsCenter or something, but they had him as one of the most overrated players, and I kind of agree. For this reason, I feel like it's valid because obviously now your team is down 0-2. Like it shows that you're not a leader.
Where I think
he's
they
still
left.
very young at the time.
Oh yeah, but here's the thing: him and Murray had a great game yesterday. They were fantastic. But my problem with the Atlanta Hawks is they have no front court firepower whatsoever, and they're going against Boston, who has front court firepower. Caleb, I mean, is there a shot, or is this going to be a sweep?
No. I think it's the broom. I really do. But to Trae Young's defense, they're having internal issues, so it's very hard to perform and ball as a unit, as a cohesive unit when you don't even like the people playing with you. They talking behind your back, you talking behind their back. The people are releasing statements to the press. You got to answer. It's very hard to be like, okay, guys, come on, now let's be a family and let's go win, right? Mm-hmm. Like the challenge against the Celtics is too great to not be together, to not be one cohesive unit going out to play. That's the only way you get upsets is when you guys are together. They're not. Trae don't even want to be there. The coach don't like him. You know what I mean? Like it's He had Nate, well, allegedly had Nate McMillan fired, all of that. Like, so there's a lot of bad blood there. So the Hawks they were cooked before this series even started, just with internal issues. So, and I don't think Trey is overrated. I mean, okay, make a little, but he's a baller. Like in the game, I've seen that dude.
Look, he's exciting to watch, but
when he sent the Knicks home. When he sent the Knicks home last season, he's doing this and saying bye-bye in Madison Square Garden, pulling up from 35 feet cash. That's not overrated. He's just mentally not there.
He needs a little bit of growing up. He needs a little bit of seasoning, but he's definitely on the right path. He's exciting to watch. There's no question that. I remember LeBron called him in college, said this is the next young guy to watch. But you know what? The younger generation, I was talking to some kids that are like, 20 years old it was right after the Knicks got eliminated last year by the Hawks. And their thing was like how great Trae Young was. They tried to equate Trae Young to Reggie Miller. It was like, pump the brakes. He's not Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller,
he's
after Steph Curry, he was the best shooter I've ever seen.
Yeah, I would say Reggie had a little bit more dog in him.
Oh, he had that Jordan kind of like
because Trey's got dog too, but Reggie, and again, I'm impartial because Reggie's from Riverside. That's 15 minutes from where I grew up in Reno Valley. The IE stand up. So there's a different breed when you come from that part of Southern California. You know what I mean? And his sister had it. Cheryl scored 100 points.
She was.
But I will say he's definitely not Reggie Miller because Reggie Miller could play defense as well. And Trey is not as strong on the defensive end as Reggie was.
And he was a little better from three still. Like Trey can hit the three, but sometimes Trey needs to put up like 15 threes to hit like 5 or 6. Reggie would throw up 15 threes and hit like 10. So I mean, Reggie was.
He got 15 because
they didn't shoot back then. Yeah, they didn't shoot threes like that back
so
then.
Different.
But, he's that generation Steph Curry, I think. You're the same generation as me, right? I mean, he was about as deadly from behind the arc as Steph, I would say. Steph's maybe better.
Oh, yeah. In that time, Reggie Miller was considered the best three-point shooter of all time. Ray Allen only just made more, but people still considered Reggie Miller better. Him and Larry Bird.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so you know what? We're looking at a sweep, Katrina sweep. It's already 2-0. They're going to go to Atlanta. They got no front court help. John Collins isn't really having a series. They got no hope, do they not?
No.
Don't worry. We got some Hollywood stuff. We're gonna get to Katrina. She can break out the Hollywood stuff in a little bit. All right. What do we got next? Suns tie the series 1-1, beating the Clippers 123-109. Let's start with Abby since that's her home team.
Oh my God!
It was scary. Wait, real quick. I want to say you were nervous because I saw your post on Instagram. You were nervous.
Yeah, about halfway through, I had posted I don't know if the Jets not having Aaron Rodgers is stressing me out or the Suns are stressing me out. But luckily, Booker was able to hit that 3 going into the half, and then second half, the Suns just dominated. Yeah. But Kawhi Leonard, that man cannot be stopped. My God, he cannot be stopped. And honestly, what's killing the Suns right now? Their bench. Awful. Yep. And we're missing I know Payne's been out with an injury or whatever, but yesterday I think we had 13 points off the bench. The game before 10 points. That's not going to work. And that's not going to get us through this whole tournament. I mean, we have quite a few games to go, but I was stressed. And Devin Booker, I think, had the most points yesterday.
38
went off. So, I'm happy they came out and won, but it was kind of embarrassing that game 1 to lose on our home court. On our home court, and the Suns fans, they show up. We show up. We're here.
and they start fights with Russell Westbrook at halftime. So you missed.
Oh my God, I saw that.
That's fun. That part's fun.
I think Chris Paul and Kawhi Leonard, they shoulder checked. I just saw it right before this. They shoulder checked each other after the game yesterday, and I'm like, ooh, this is getting spicy now heading into LA.
The Suns, they got up at halftime, or they tied it at halftime. Didn't look back in the second half. But Kawhi, and listen, Westbrook had a big game yesterday too. They combined for 59 points, but not much else from the rest of the team. Caleeb, if PG is healthy, is this
it's a wrap?
It's more. The Clippers have the edge. If
the Clippers would have won, they would be up 2-0. Let me tell you something. What Abby said is 1,000% correct. It's the bench. Without a bench, you will not win in the NBA. They might squeak through this series, but they will not win the title. Oh, no. Absolutely not.
Not deep enough. You got to be deeper.
A bench? No way. It's impossible. You're not going to win the title. I don't even care if you come out the West. You're going to lose to Milwaukee or Boston because both of them have what the Suns don't, a bench.
Yep.
And KD is a man. So is Devin Booker. You know what I mean? And so is Chris Paul. Like,
so is Ayton.
What I mean is they're fallible. They won't always be on. I mean, if you want to get Devin Booker thrown off, all you got to do is get the fans to wear a Bad Bunny t-shirt, and he's going to be all discombobulated.
That poor kid.
That's what I would do. I'll be playing nothing but Bad Bunny records during the break and everything. Just
they'll be playing them in LA. The Bad Bunny will be being played in LA every break. Maybe
That's
even
right.
just before every Booker free throw.
That's right.
And, you know, he thought he begged,
throwing the hell out of his ass.
Could you blame him? He thought he begged the Kardashian, man. Could you blame him? Right?
Well, Bunny's always talked about, he's mentioned, if you're a fan of his music, you would know he mentions Kardashians a lot, as the epitome of like beauty. So I knew he had to get one. So he got one. He was like, cool. It's just a trophy for a little while. That's just make you say, okay, I've made it. Yeah, and then he'll move on.
Nowadays, they're like a participation trophy for some celebrities.
I mean, shoot, it's how for the brothers, it was like, yeah, like that's how you did it. Like, all right, I'm officially here. Let me kick it for a little bit, take some pictures, and then I think
it all started with Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush started the trend, right?
Reggie Bush started the trend.
So there we go. But you know what? Booker was money yesterday. 14 of 22, 4 of 7 from behind the arc, 9 assists too. Didn't just score; it was also dishing the ball off. DeAndre Ayton, 14 points, 13 rebounds. Durant, 25 points. And it was a quiet 25 points. I thought Durant was able to put up some points and not really be overly dominant. It was, if Durant could be the sneaky, like, second or third guy on this team behind Booker, how much, I mean, again, no bench. That's going to be something that's going to harm them. But that's got to help them a little bit. If Durant's not your first option, that's got to help them a little bit, at least to get through a couple of these games.
I disagree completely with that.
Really?
He needs to be. Yes. Booker's supposed to, what? Are you kidding me? Like,
you don't think Booker could routinely put up 30 though? He looked good from the field yesterday.
No. KD had a silent one. Booker got all the right? Mm-hmm. But you like no, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm Michael Jackson, you Tito. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get that clear. Like the fact that this dude, it's like you trade all this for him and I'm gonna play second fiddle. Are you kidding? Like, KD needs to be that. And then that will free up Booker and Chris Paul and Ayton because they're focused on it. When they're looking at, see, that's the issue that KD has always gotten is that he's not aggressive, like that he's not that dog. He's got all the skill in the world, but will defer. You know what I mean? He'll never be the leader. That's a problem. I'm telling you, that's a problem. He got carried in Golden State because he had such a squad there.
Oh, yeah.
Not carried. Carries the wrong word. It was able to be hidden.
Yeah,
it was able to be hidden, but he has to take over. He really does. In order for the Suns to the best version of the Suns is him being the lead singer. But he got a moonwalk.
But to be fair, anytime he's been to a place where he had to be the guy, i.e., Oklahoma City, i.e., Brooklyn, now maybe with Phoenix, they were never able to. Yeah, they were never. And he has great games.
That's the pushback KD gets. Why they say LeBron is better. Yeah. They say KD's got more skills, like offensively or whatever. LeBron is a better overall player. But KD is like that dude, but they say he's just missing the heart piece. Like, he's scared. Like, he let Russell Westbrook be the leader. Russell's going to go 3 for 20, but you're going to let him lead the team. It's like, come on, bruv. Come on, bruv, as my English brothers would say. You got to get it together.
Now, also, too, very thin skin for a star. Very thin skin for a star.
Well, because he's got thin hair. You see, he's already got the friar tuck.
He's got the opposite from LeBron. LeBron has the front going.
Hey, LeBron, I don't even know why LeBron wears a do-rag. It's almost embarrassing. I'm like, why you got a do-rag on? You ain't got no, Joker, you ain't got no waves. And look, I'm older than LeBron, and my hair is full. I ain't got no issue, no gray, not a spot of nothing.
I got gray in my beard. That's it.
No, but it's funny because God gives people different things. He's like, I'm gonna give you all those skills, LeBron, but I'm taking away your hair. And LeBron's like, please, just give me my hair.
He tried to get it fixed. I guess it was like surgically or whatever. He had the new thing put in there. It didn't seem to last.
It just don't work for men. Like when you do that stuff, everybody clown you. They make fun of you. You know what I mean?
Because
like, they know anything they want. Men, if they find out, it's a wrap.
Yeah, I mean, and we all knew we saw LeBron's hair looked from one off season to the next, and then it was like, wait a second, that hair wasn't there like last year.
Don't be hating.
I'm sorry. All right, so you know what? Let's get into our first debate topic, man. We're going to talk about the New York Jets a little touch of home for me and Abby since that's our team. But you know what? I think we're a little worried. What is going to be the best option if this Rodgers thing falls through? Because we're getting to a point now where I don't know. It's getting a little dicey, a little iffy. Ooh, we lost Katrina. Hopefully she'll be right back. Abby, let's start with you since you are since my main Jet fan. What do you think?
So when the first week that we launched, I had said we were going to have a deal done by April 18th. And it is now the 19th, and there's nothing done. And I think you said we were going to have something done, but in the draft week.
I thought by next week. Now I'm starting to lose hope on even that, though.
Oh, I know. And I mean, honestly, it's in Green Bay's best interest to have this deal done before the draft. Honestly, though, I don't even think the Jets have enough money to pay Lamar. Because it instantly was kind of my first option, but they've already kind of expressed they're not interested in him. You know what I mean? If we're going to go all in on somebody, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Now the one player that we were kind of talking about it before that stands out is going to be Ryan Tannehill. I think it kind of makes the most sense, especially since Todd Downing is with the Jets now. Obviously, there's going to be some familiarity there. Yeah. But it looks like the Titans will probably cut him because they can save so much. I think it's like $17.8 million in cap space there. I mean, we need just a functional quarterback who can get the job done. And honestly, too, and I'll keep stressing this, it is very important if Zach Wilson is going to be QB2 to sit behind a veteran. Yeah. And Tannehill has quite a bit of experience. He's not, I think I was reading some stats yesterday. I don't think he has that great of stats in the playoffs. But, I mean, Tennessee, though, besides Derrick Henry, I mean, they don't got nobody. He's been carrying that team on his back.
And Henry might not be there that much longer either. They're talking about him being on the trade block as well. Mm-hmm. So if I'm Tennessee, I probably trade them both and start fresh. Mm-hmm. I probably trade them both and start fresh. So if you had to pick one or the other, where do you think they're going? Is it Tannehill?
Let me also say, it's obviously Tannehill. And the thing is, though, I entertain the idea of Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan. And then I was like, maybe Teddy Bridgewater. Now, Teddy Bridgewater, he was offered a deal by the Lions for 1 year. So I think he's going to sit on that. So I kind of was like, that'll probably work out. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like it has to be Tannehill. He's not an Aaron Rodgers, obviously. But like I said, I think he can get the job done, which is what the New York Jets are missing. We just need a functional quarterback who can throw to our receivers accurately.
If we had a quarterback that averaged just the league average of points last year, which was 22 points a game, we would have won 4 more games and would have probably won that division at that point.
And Brees is back, so he'll carry the team on his back too. He cannot be stopped.
I was just about to ask Caleb what was any bounce on me. I'll go into. Oh, here he's back. Caleb, what do you? I was about to say, what do you think their backup plan is? If it's not Rodgers, where do they go?
I mean, I agree with Abby. I think it's Tannehill out of the names, because Carson Wentz, I just think he's mentally not like he's mentally broken. Like he doesn't have the confidence, right? Tannehill, he always plays decent. And I've seen him play a little bit above decent, and then I've seen him play bad, but he's never been as bad as Carson, and definitely not as bad as Zach Wilson. And Matt Ryan is just old. He's just too old. He can't move. And right now, the league is so fast. Like these defensive linemen, they'll weigh 280 pounds, 300 pounds, and run a 4.6. Like they're on you in seconds. You have like two and a half seconds to get rid of that football. That's why quarterbacks that can move are more valuable, because at least you give yourself an additional 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds if you can move around. So with his immobility, Matt Ryan is out of the question. Tannehill's still young enough, still smart. He would be good, but he's a way, way lower tier than Aaron Rodgers. And here's the deal, even with A-Rod, I'm a big fan, but for the Jets to go all in on somebody that's not going to be there in 2 years, that's a tragedy. Like,
Yes.
you have to win the Super Bowl then if you go get him. Because to say I don't want Lamar Jackson and take somebody who, I'm telling you, a couple more ceremonies, Aaron's like, man, I'm done with this. Like, he's going to see the difference in the world, and his spiritualness is going to come into and say, man, that's all for vanity. I'm done. Right? And he's going to leave the Jets like, you see what I mean? So, like, if I was them, I would have been trying to get Lamar Jackson. But I understand the A-Rod. If you could get him, get him. But the Packers are playing hardball because they know how bad the Jets want him. You know what I mean? It's like the ice cream man. When you drive through your neighborhood and you see the kids, he's like, watch how fast I'm going to make them run. Hit the gas. And all the kids are really, that's how they're doing the Jets right now. You know what I mean? So it's interesting.
I'm at a point where if they're really trying to say we want a first rounder and a second rounder, my thing is if I got to trade a first rounder and a second rounder, I might as well just trade 2 first rounders and go get Lamar at that point. The money's going to be pretty much what it would cost you to sign Rodgers, only you could spread it out over time. So maybe it doesn't hit you as much in the pocket or in the cap as it would if it's Rodgers. Rodgers, you're going to be paying it all over the next 2 years. You know, with Lamar, you could pay over the next 4 or 5 plus years. And again, what's the difference between sending a 1 and a 2 for a guy that's going to be here for 2 years? I'd rather just send 2 1s for a guy that's going to be here 5, 6 years or more. I get the injury prone. He wasn't my first pick. Derek Carr would have been my first pick because he would have cost you a lot less. And I think he's still a really good quarterback in the right system. He's going to be a Pro Bowler. All I know is I was talking to somebody, one of these kids yesterday, and we were talking about this, and he was like, "Well, how about Chris Streveler?" I'm like, "Please, he's the second coming of Tim Tebow. Don't say Chris Streveler." We were all excited to see him when they put him in against Jacksonville, but it took about 2 series to realize he's basically a right-handed Tim Tebow. I don't need to see any more Chris Streveler.
Right.
I'm almost at a point where I say to the Packers, you know what? Stop playing chicken. You keep him. You keep him for this year. You figure out how to deal with him and Love, and how to deal with the $60 million that you owe him over the next couple of years. You figure it out. We're out. We're gonna go do something else. And I'll tell you what, I would have loved to use my 13th overall pick for Branch, the safety out of Alabama. I think he's a perfect fit for the Jet defense, and only makes our defense even better. And would make it the best young secondary in the league. But you know what? If I have to go spend that and I can get an Anthony Richardson at number 13, which there's, depending on who you hear, he could either be there or not be there. He might be going to the top 5, or he could be there to the late first. I feel like everybody's all over the map with Anthony Richardson. But if I can get him at 13, I then pull the trigger on Anthony Richardson if I don't have Aaron Rodgers yet. And then I tell Aaron Rodgers, kick rocks. I go sign a veteran. Maybe I wait for Tannehill to get dropped, and then I pick him up on a minimum contract to be my starter for a year or 2. Zach bumps down to like 2 or 3, or we let Zach and Anthony Richardson battle it out to see who the second string guy is in preseason. I think Anthony Richardson reminds me very much, and I know people are going to think I'm crazy, he reminds me of Josh Allen in college. The thing that people were scared about with Josh Allen was he was not accurate, was not an accurate thrower of the football, but he learned accuracy. I think, Caleb, you said this a couple days ago, that you can learn how to be accurate. There's certain things you can't learn. You can't learn size. And you know what? Anthony Richardson's a big boy. He's, 240, about 6'5", 240.
6'4", some 6'4",
so
6'5",
he's a big guy with a cannon and can run a 4.4 or something like that.
Come on, man.
He is Josh Allen.
If you knew that, but see, the Jets have to gamble on that, and
they do.
It's not no guarantee. And a lot of teams, 13 other teams ahead of you, know that as well. And everybody knows you go as far as your quarterback does in this league. The only thing that can help you is a rock solid defense, where you can mimic what the Ravens did back in the early 2000s. I think they had Trent Dilfer. I'm almost certain it was Trent Dilfer, their quarterback, who was middle of the pack at
No,
best.
he wasn't even that good.
Ray Lewis would tell him every game, get us 10 points, and it's a wrap. Like, you know how good you got to be to tell your team you only have to score 10 points and we win? Like, that's the kind of defense the Jets are almost at. So I would take that safety, because if you make a defense where people can't score, man, you really help your quarterback a lot. Like, now you can have a Tannehill and go to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, because Sauce Gardner is not a joke out there.
He's the top 5 corner already.
Man, listen. And they got a strong defensive line. Their linebacker core is strong. Like, the Jets are nasty. They just need that captain. And I know they're trying to go for the big cap, and hopefully they get him. because he said he wants to be there, but we shall see.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. Could you picture a Breece Hall backfield with a quarterback that can run like an Anthony Richardson or a Lamar Jackson?
Oh my God,
I mean,
it's a wrap.
Yeah, I mean, it would be dangerous. It would be dangerous.
Definitely in Madden. In Madden, you couldn't beat them. It'd be between them and Miami in Madden.
They'll jip Breece though. Breece won't get the score. Won't get the Madden score he should get this year. It'll be the next year that he gets that. He'll get his 99 next year. Katrina, what you hope the Jets get Aaron Rodgers, or do you move on at this point? Are we tied?
I say move on. I like that game you were gonna play. Where you're like, okay, never mind. You guys deal with it. We're gonna go do our thing. We'll just be over here.
It's called passive aggression.
I like that. I thought that was cool. I'm with that.
I'm all for telling the Packers to go shove it, man. You know what? Go F it, and we're gonna move on with our own options. I'm done waiting, and because they're dragging their feet, they're trying to like milk the Jets. They think the Jets have no other options, and they really don't. But the Packers don't have any other options either. You know what? Fine, go pay 2 quarterbacks and one of them you don't want, and that's it. Like Rodgers is spiteful enough that he might just stay and not retire just to spite the Packers. And just be like, you know what? I'm gonna stay.
I would watch all of that. That sounds good.
Hard Knocks would be perfect.
Isn't it like 50-something million? I mean, that's not spite.
It's between 50 and 60.
I'm getting my money. Like that's the best. He'll stay fine.
Yeah, 100%. So, you know what? Let's get over to some Hollywood headlines.
Yeah.
I'm interested in this. What Caleeb has to say about this. The Writers Guild of America member vote overwhelmingly to authorize a strike if no deal by May 1st. And I know this affects you personally. So I'm just curious. Let me get your take on that.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's without the writers, you can't do anything. At least for now, because we were talking about AI the other day. Now they have AI writing apps. So there's in about 10 years, you won't need writers no more either. You just you just say what you want written, and it'll come out and it'll be written great, and you go make that, right? But as of now, and that's so sad, like that sort of thing, because we're missing the human element. But to the strike itself, it pauses everything. So, hopefully there's a deal that can be made before May 1st, and then everything will continue on smoothly. But they have to feed the beast. These places have to feed the beast. People want content, always will want content, and you can't have it without the writers. You know what I mean? And so you gotta pay them. It's like the writers have they're the strongest union outside of SAG, because the writers write everything and the actors perform. So without those two, you're screwed. You know what I mean? So it's interesting, but I have a lot of friends in the WGA. I think the deal is going to get done. I don't know if it'll be before May 1st, but also these writers, they want to work too. They don't want to not work. They need their money too. So they'll be inclined to get this deal done. So I think it'll happen sooner than later, and we'll be back on track.
I hope so.
And it's like you said, Caleeb, there's a lot of other people's jobs at stake. A lot of other people that need to pay their bills and feed their families. That's jobs are at stake with this.
Everybody.
So it's not just
it's like, we're only talking. You only think about the people that we call above the line. Your producers, your directors, your first AD, all of that stuff. Your DP, but everybody.
It's everyone. Yeah.
Everybody that's below the line, they need all that. Like
I remember the last one.
Yeah, the last one was brutal.
It was so long, and like there was no auditions, there was no production going on, there was nothing. Like everybody was just sitting at home like COVID. Forever. And this was the
Celebrity
first time
COVID.
I'd ever seen anything like that. It was crazy. I was like, can I please audition? Can I please go somewhere? Can I please be someone else for 2 hours? Please, anything, something, please.
Now, what do you think, Katrina? Do you think this is going to get done in time?
Gosh, I hope so. Maybe not in time, but I think real soon. I don't think they want to see a repeat of what happened last time.
How long was it the last time? I feel like it was
100 days.
100. That's a
100
long
days.
time,
but
man.
it felt like a year.
Yeah, it did. It really did, because you're used to working and moving, and then everything just stops. And here's what made it worse. You don't know how long, right? So it's like your parents saying you're on restriction, but they don't say for a week. They don't say for 3 days. They don't say a month. So you're just every day you're just dying because you don't know how long it'll be.
Yeah, it was
That's
scary.
The torture. Yeah, we did
exactly. It was torture.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully for everybody, especially the people that needs to make to be able to feed their families, will be taken care of, and hopefully that won't be an issue. But you know what? Again, we pray for those guys and everyone that needs it. But let's move on to the next one. Shonda Rhimes set to receive a BAFTA special award. Well deserved, no?
Absolutely.
I think
if you look at her resume, Grey's Anatomy, Private Practice, Scandal, Inventing Anna, which was huge, How to Get Away with Murder, Bridgerton, Station 19. Honestly, might be one of the best show creators in the history of TV. Honestly,
no, she's absolutely one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, she's a brilliant writer. She comes up with these worlds, but then she knows how to deliver the soapiness, the stuff that keeps people locked in, right? That's a skill set that she has. And the fact that she is a Black woman, like with these kind of opportunities, like that's a major thing, because in our business, just recently in the past 3 to 4 years, has the people of color presence as far as behind the scenes, like writing and all of that, getting their shots. Like now, they're getting way more opportunities than what it was before. But Shonda is a big reason of that, and she's reaping the benefits and the rewards of it. And I think more power to her, and she deserves it. Like she's a real talent as a creator and a writer. Absolutely,
she's brilliant.
What would you say, Katrina, is your favorite out of those big names? What would you say is her best work?
Well, my favorite was Inventing Anna.
Oh, that was fantastic.
I thought that was just brilliant. I thought it was riveting. I thought it was phenomenal. But I saw her right after the Emmys last year, and she was partying and celebrating, and she was amazing. And this was the first time I'd ever seen her kind of like let her hair down, because all the other times she's all business and she's kind of scary. But I mean, she's just a genius. She takes her notepad with her everywhere. She's always creating. She's always working. Doesn't matter 3 a.m, 2 a.m, when everyone else is sleeping. She's out there creating, and it shows.
And is she the type of name that can go out and get someone like, because if you look, a lot of her shows have had big casts, right? Scandal, Kerry Washington, right? And I'm blanking on the girl from Inventing Anna on the name. And How to Get Away with huge. She's always able to land a huge star. Is that something that like? Well, I guess let me put it this way: How to Get Away with Murder, was that the script, or was that Shonda that got that was able to cast that? Same thing with Scandal and Inventing Anna. Is that Shonda that's able to cast that? Like, is she the one that people say, I want to work with her?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
But the script always delivers.
But and that she is. I know that is her. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, would you? So I guess what I'm really trying to say is, would you need to see the script if you knew she wanted to have you in a project?
Listen, there's people in this business that actors want to work with, right? Yeah. They only have to call Quentin Tarantino on line 1. I'm in.
Yeah, it doesn't matter,
but
right?
He just wants to say, right? Like there's people when Scorsese calls Leo, I'm in. What are we doing? Right? That's why they work together all the time. These actors have their go-to directors. So for television, it's the showrunner. The director is not as important in TV. Showrunner is God. In movies, director is everything. But on TV, it's the showrunner. The showrunner is the writer. That's Shonda Rhimes. She runs everything. Shonda is on line 1. Most actors are going to say, I'm in.
And that's kind of what I was getting at, because the actresses and actors she gets for her shows are movie actresses, not so much TV actresses. Kerry Washington wasn't really a TV actress.
But look, our business changed.
With streaming,
there's way more television now. See, before in movies, you had to be a movie star. And a movie, oh gosh, we could get on this forever. There's a difference between actors and movie stars, right? A lot of people will call other just regular actors movie stars because they're in movies. No. A movie star is a person that you just see their face and you're going to that movie, right? There's only been a few, right? Burt Reynolds, right? He was a movie star. Tom Cruise, movie star. Mel Gibson, movie star. Bruce Willis, movie star. Will Smith, movie star. Now, The Rock, movie star. Like, you don't have to be a great actor. Movie star. There's a lot of character actors that are phenomenal. Robert De Niro is a character actor. Yeah, you don't go see a movie because De Niro just has his face on it. No, right? Like, there's difference. He could be by far more talented as an actor, but movie stars connect with people in a way that others can't. That's the difference, right? So there's levels to it. So to the television thing, these actors, that they're not getting the roles in the movies at the time. And there was this new thing called streaming, and they need content. So now you having a name was everything, because streamers don't care about box office. They care about subscriptions. They care about subscribers. So, but people aren't going to subscribe to a channel that doesn't have people that they recognize. So now that television actor, who's that guy from that thing? Now he's a star on this. Kevin Spacey. He made more money in his career doing what was the show on Netflix? Oh gosh, why am I blanking on the title? You guys know it. The biggest show on Netflix is what started Netflix.
House of Cards?
Yes, House of Cards. They gave him, he was getting $20 million a season. He never got that in a single movie.
Yeah.
You understand? So now it was a thing to work, but that now you need the showrunner. The director, they change every episode. The showrunner is there, right?
Yeah.
So the streamers gave these actors new opportunities. It's what changed the business, which is why the writers are going on strike now, because the business model has changed. They want more money. They're like, yo, you guys are making money hand over fist, because see, streamers don't give you royalties. See, when you used to do a movie, so my brother-in-law used to have a deal that was 20 million up front, 20% on every 100 million that the movie made, right?
That's
So
awesome.
you could make all this money and you get residuals. On Netflix, no residuals. And it's not just Netflix, it's any streamer. They usually don't give residuals. It's why Matt Damon and Ben Affleck created their new company, where they're trying to figure out how to bridge this gap so artists can still make money from their work. Because once you take it to a streamer, they overpay you. So they'll pay you. So say you get $10 a movie, right? They'll give you $30 to do the movie. But that's it.
That's it.
That's what the problem is. So that's what's going on. And I'm sorry, you guys, I went on a tangent.
No, it's okay.
Listen, you're learning us something, man. I'm here for it, man.
But the streaming, your content is available 24/7 forever.
Yeah.
Like movies, you might have to pay again if you want to see it in a later date, but your content on a Netflix or a Hulu or any of those shows.
But you're also
Prime,
paying but they're also getting a paycheck from everybody every month. You know, you pay monthly for those services. So you are.
The streaming services are, but not the talent involved.
Oh, I get that.
That's why they have to pay you so much up front.
I get it. I get it.
But it still pales into comparison. So for example, we have a thing where we saw how well Cobra Kai does for Netflix, right? Cobra Kai is one of the top 5 shows in the history of Netflix. History, with more than 20 billion hours viewed. 20 billion hours.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Nobody gets extra money for that. You
That's
see,
crazy.
imagine if
crazy.
your movie played 20 billion times. You know how much money actors would make, right? Like because of the residuals. That's not how it is on the streamer side. So that's what people are trying to figure out, how you monetize.
I would think
fair.
I would think if they do that, I feel like they'd be able to get even bigger actors to do TV at that point on streaming services.
Well, here's the deal. You're going to get anybody you want, because everybody wants to work. Yeah. Not everybody's getting movies thrown at them. Not everybody's Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. You know what I mean? Like people, like, you want to work, so you'll take that job. And television, it used to be a thing, like the big screen or the small screen. They're all one thing now. It don't matter. It don't matter.
Especially when COVID shut down theaters to begin with, and everything was being streamed at that point. So I mean, I think that was also a big part of it. So.
COVID was the best thing to ever happen to the streaming business. It was the best. Yeah. That is social media, because social media changed it. Because, before, I'm from the old school. You didn't see your favorite actors. Never. You never knew what was going on in their lives. Now you get them on your phone every day. So it kind of normalizes everything. You know,
imagine the amount of trouble like Marlon Brando and like Frank Sinatra would have been in if there was like social networking back then.
Would have been
You wouldn't be able to mention their names.
Yeah. It would be nice.
You would go, like, the stuff that those guys were doing. Oh my gosh! But it was normal. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it was normal. But now we're so hypersensitive with everything. It's a tragedy. So they're lucky.
Yeah, they got to miss out on that. All right, so we're gonna come up next is the weekend's new show on HBO. The Idol has a release date, which I believe is gonna be June 4th. Have you guys seen I wanted to play the trailer, but I didn't want to get hit with a copyright, so we're not going to play the trailer. Have you guys seen the trailer for this yet?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It
looks so good.
It looks, and they say it's from the I guess the creators, the writers of Euphoria. It has a Euphoria kind of vibe, but in a pop star setting. And the cast is fantastic. You got Johnny Depp's daughter in there, The Weeknd, Hank Azaria, who kills every scene of every show he's ever in. Even Daniel Levy's in this, and a couple other people I'm leaving off. I'm blanking on the names. But Caleb, have you seen the trailer?
Yeah.
What's your thought on this? Hit or no?
It looks great. I mean, you got everything that you need to have a hit, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's the idea. And now we'll just see if it connects with the audience. Like that's all. That's what all this stuff comes down to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's definitely the right names, the right people. So whoever greenlit this show they won't get fired if it doesn't work. That's how this business is done.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. Like executives, they'll pick shows based off of names so they can protect their job. Because if it doesn't work, they can say, well, who wouldn't? It's the creators of Euphoria. It's The Weeknd, of course. It's not my fault it didn't work. It's theirs. So now you don't lose your job. Mm-hmm. But you take a shot on MC Get Busy and don't nobody know who it is and the show don't work. Out.
Yeah, there's an issue.
You know what I mean?
I remember when Vinyl. I don't know if you guys remember Vinyl.
I loved that show.
I loved it too. It only lasted 1 year. It was such a
that was too bad.
I have no idea why it didn't last. And he's actually one of my favorite actors.
Because it didn't connect with an audience.
But I loved it. It connected with me. I dug it, man.
Right.
I was there for it.
But it has to connect with a massive, with a big audience because you got to think the cost of production. We don't know how much it was per episode for that show, and it wasn't working out, right? The Game of Thrones is such a big hit, and they still had to because it's cost so much to make. They're like, yo. So now they're doing the House of Dragon, but if you look, the production is it's a lot smart. Like you may not be able to notice it, but like because I know, I'm like, oh yeah, these are sets like really like they cut that production cost down. I would say probably a third, even more.
Really?
Yeah, and they only film in like 1 or 2 places. Before it was filmed like all over the world. Like there's a big difference.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But now why is that though?
Tell.
But why is that? With the success of the first one, they had the money to do it, and they saw it work.
Well, because you want profit.
They knew it worked. It worked on the first one to do it that way.
No. You want profit. So if you're making $1 on every show, and you can figure out a way that you can make $2, you're gonna do that. Cut this, cut that, do this, do that. Now we make $2, right? And I'm just using that as an example. That's millions of dollars of a difference.
Yeah,
it's why everything is shot in Atlanta because you get 30% on your rebate. So that means every dollar I spend, I get 30 cents back. Now imagine if I'm spending $30 million. You see how much? You see what I mean? Yeah. That's why
I keep that change
in Atlanta.
Is that the rate that you save in Atlanta, filming in Atlanta?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
I knew there was a reason why. I didn't know it was that high.
Why do you think Tyler Perry's there?
Exactly. She's
makes
exactly
sense.
right about that.
Yeah.
They call it ATLA, right?
Yeah.
Like ATLA. It's the new LA. It's where everything is shot. We shoot Cobra Kai there.
Oh, I didn't know that. You guys shoot that in Georgia. Yeah. I know there's a lot of stuff. I know there's a lot of stuff.
Everything is in Atlanta, South Carolina, North Carolina.
I think New Orleans too.
Yeah,
I've seen New Orleans. I think is Toronto, Vancouver.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Anything you see that's New York, you be like, wait a minute, that don't really look like New York. Toronto.
Yeah.
It's a little too clean to be New York. Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So Abby, you ready for the show?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Euphoria fan, and it's kind of fitting because, first of all, The Weeknd's hair in the trailer is But I mean, I think he's like the perfect fit because his music can get really dark, especially like his early music, not his most recent ones, but kind of brings you to a certain place. And I definitely got all the Euphoria vibes with just the colors and the way that they were kind of moving through the scenes in the trailer, exactly like Euphoria. So I'm here for it.
It's funny you when you say that it not only did it had the Euphoria vibes, but it had the old school version of The Weeknd kind of vibe. It felt like the trailer felt like a Weeknd music video, like from like 10 years ago. Like his vibe, like before he was really like before he was really who he is now, when he was still coming up. It gave me the exact same vibes and the Euphoria vibes. Katrina?
I mean, I can't wait. I think it gives you that old school weekend vibe because it seems like softer, right? It's like a little like it's like it looks like you're watching it behind a little cloud of smoke.
Yeah.
And it's a little darker, but I can't wait to see it. I was thinking, ooh, this is like I'm watching the life of Britney Spears back in the day, like without anybody pushing me out of the way, and I could just see everything that's actually happening. Like, I can't wait to see it.
I think they have a hit on their hands too. I think it's gonna be really well done. All right, let's go back to the next one. Monique is suing CBS Paramount over Parker's royalties. What's your thoughts on this, Katrina?
I mean, I could relate. I think she should sue if she's not getting any royalties. I mean, I understand this. I understand the struggle because I worked for Nickelodeon. I didn't work for Dollarodian, so I didn't get residuals. So I get it. The difference is it's not the Katrina Johnson show. Like, she actually created it. It's her show. It's all about her. And if she never got her royalties, she is owed some. Especially now with all these other platforms that can be showing her work that she isn't getting paid for on all of these new systems that didn't even exist when the show was created.
I'm not sure where it's streaming. I'm sure it's streaming somewhere. I'm
sure it's somewhere.
Netflix. It's got to be on something.
Somewhere, yeah. So that being said, first of all, pay her royalties from the original show, and second of all, give her something for all of whatever you're going to be, the syndication, the streaming. Give it to her.
Caleb, what do you think?
No, I agree. I mean, it's the royalties is how a lot of times people survive. Like, after you haven't seen them in years on something, that's how they actually pay their bills and able to eat or offer their royalties. So when you start cutting into that, it's not about just Monique, but Monique is representing everybody who would be in that position. So if she doesn't get it, now the other person who isn't as famous as Monique and have a biggest platform isn't surviving either. You know what I mean? So it's really important. And I think at minimum she needs to do this, right? Regardless of what her deal is, because I don't know what her deal was. Who knows what her deal was as to why she's not receiving royalties? You know what I mean? It was the same thing with Dave Chappelle. When Dave wasn't receiving money for the Chappelle show, his deal actually that he signed actually said he wouldn't get anything. But like he said, is it right? Right? So he used this platform to tell his fans, don't support it. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're not paying me. So people felt that wasn't right, even though his deal, like, they didn't do anything wrong. Legally, they're in the right, but it's not morally correct. So who knows what's going on with her? She could be in that same situation, but regardless of that, she should receive royalties because, like Katrina said, she was the star of the show. She's all over it.
It's all good job, Patty Puddles. It's seasons 1 through 5 are on Netflix. If you spend, what was that last thing, Patty? I didn't see it. Was it if you spend $30 million, then you should get an extra $9 million with 30%? Oh, all right.
There it is.
There you go. So yeah, I guess that's for the Atlanta.
For the Atlanta.
You know, let me and Caleb, you'll probably have the best insight to how it works. Could she have gotten? And again, because I don't know, would she have gotten royalties up to a certain point, and then like do royalties ever cut out, or is it kind of like for the life you get royalties?
No, it's in perpetuity. But you could have a deal that's different because everything is negotiable. Right? At that time, television was different. Who knows what her deal actually was, right? Like, that's in writing as to what they're sticking to. But again, it's supposed to be as long as that show plays, you get royalties. Like, what's funny is I get royalties. I did an episode of Charmed like 18 years ago. And
were you a witch? Were you a warlock?
Yeah, no, I was just a regular dude. But the funny thing is that I still get royalties. I got a check the other day for $1.50.
Ballin'.
There you go.
You better know it.
Get that dollar menu up on McDonald's.
Sizzler. Going straight to Sizzler with that. You know what I mean? But yeah, so what I mean is, and I'm nobody on that and nothing, just a small day player, and I still got royalties for something I did almost 18 years ago. So it's in perpetuity. It's supposed to go until even after you die.
Right,
Because
because
it's
everyone
still
else
you.
is
You hand it
making
down.
money off that. The studio is
That's
still
right.
selling it. They're still selling commercials while it plays. They're still everybody else is getting paid.
My question is, could there be an opportunity where a show could say what the deal would be, where you get it for 20 years after the show, and then after that, you know, like, or does that not happen? I guess that's really what my question is.
You could do whatever you want with your deal.
So it could be
because
written
you could
in
say,
there.
I want more money up front. There could be, but usually no. And majority of stuff is now on streaming, and we already talked about that. Streaming ain't giving you no royalties.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if once it's on a streaming platform, that's it for you, buddy. You got to get your times 3 up front, and
this lawsuit could maybe lead to a change in, like, be part of the what brings about a change in the streaming way the streaming money is divided. Then, if she's not seeing this money from streaming, maybe this is what kind of champions that next cause to maybe make that change.
It would take a Screen Actors Guild strike for that to happen, and majority of actors aren't going to do that because they don't mind getting their triple fee up front. Let me tell you, ain't nothing like if they paid. So Kevin Spacey was getting $20 million a season, right? And if they paid him 3 seasons up front, that's $60 million right there. You're taking that. That's not even a debate.
That's a good point. It's life changing. Yeah, I get it.
What I'm saying?
I get it.
Like,
All right. You know what? Let's the topics today we're going quarterback heavy today with the NFL. So let's go with next debatable topic. Should the Vikings look for their next quarterback in this year's draft? If so, who would be that fit for the Vikings? Who do you got? You think Kirk Cousins is that long in the tooth?
He's in the NFL. Of course he is. He's over 25. He's long in the tooth. That's how it is in the NFL.
Yeah, you're right.
It's the truth. And I think you have to get younger. You saw Kurt, his best time is behind him. You saw their best shot was last season. You saw what happened. I think they need to. And while Kurt is still good enough to help you when you need it, but also train up the young boy who you're going to bring in to replace him. That's just how it is. So if I was the Vikings, absolutely I would do that.
See, if I'm the Vikings, and we'll ask Abby next. I hear a buzz. Is that me?
I don't know.
Hear it.
You hear it?
Yeah.
I hear a buzz. I don't know.
Gene.
Is that me? Let me mute myself.
Are you getting buzzed on the show? This is work. Come on now.
Sounds like someone's.
Oh my God, Gene.
That ain't me. I just muted. So I don't know. Let's see it.
Is it me? How do I mute myself?
It is Katrina. What's going on with that?
Oh no.
So
I don't hear it now.
Katrina, if someone would say someone's gonna be making buzzing noises on air, you would be my guess.
I am buzzed. It's morning here and I am buzzed.
It sounds like someone's like mowing the lawn or something. So but all right. Anyway, where was I going? Oh, so my thing is this with the Vikings. I do think they need to start looking for their next quarterback. Although I don't do it this year. I think there's a better crop of quarterbacks next year. What I do is I think I draft a receiver this year in the first round. They have other things they need to do too, but you know what? I give Kirk Cousins another weapon on offense. First of all, I make Dalvin Cook happy. Whatever he needs whatever he needs to be happy, give him what he wants, make him happy. He's one of the best backs in the league. Don't trade him to Miami. Keep him here in Minnesota. But then I go out and I get the best receiver I have available to me in the draft. And then I wait till next year and maybe move up in the draft if I can. Maybe trade a couple picks, move up. But next year's the year I fix my quarterbacks. I think next year's quarterbacks, you got the kid from USC coming out next year. A couple other ones. I think next year's the year where I look for my quarterback if I'm the Vikings. I think you still have enough. I still think you get maybe another 2-3 years. If you get another weapon for Kirk Cousins, I think you can get another 3 years out of him. So maybe you leave him there this year. You draft his replacement next year, but you let him stay that year again. And then year 3, maybe we move on from Kirk Cousins and we play the rookie that we get next year. That's my thought. Abby, what's your take?
Oh man, this is hard because they have the 23rd pick in the draft. In order to get a quarterback, the closest option that I was reading is Hendon Hooker. The thing,
he's like 35 years old. I don't want him.
And that's even a risk. So you would have to trade up, and the most you would get is maybe 15, 16, maybe, and that's not even that many spots. But it's just that the problem with Kirk Cousins is he's a 4-time Pro Bowler. He's just not getting Minnesota over that hump. in the playoffs. And the thing is, though, besides Justin Jefferson, who do you have? Nobody.
Chris Osgood, he's decent.
Yeah,
KJ Osgood. Whatever.
There's a huge difference between
I agree.
between the two of them. So, like I said, I think what they can do is sign him to another short-term deal too. So you don't have. I don't think they look, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it and now that I heard you two, I kind of didn't have an opinion, but I don't think they go in this draft. Give him another chance. Give him some more weapons. They need a defensive tackle as well.
Yeah, they do.
So like I said, his stats are great. You can't just let that. I don't think you can let that go. Someone else would pick him up. If I was the Jets, I would pick him up.
We missed out on him once before. I'd pick him up in a heartbeat. Maybe I want.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, make that move this year, Vikings. Make that move this year.
I just think they're not going to have quarterbacks at 23. To be honest,
there's better receivers at 23 than quarterbacks. I think there's just better receivers than quarterbacks. But I do agree, though. I do think not we, because I'm not a Viking guy, but I do think the Vikings need to move on sooner than later. But that to me is next year. I know they could use a defensive tackle. I think they could use probably a defensive back as well. I probably try to do that later on in the draft. I think I add that receiver. Even though receiver isn't a major need, they do have a great Hawkinson at tight end, who is a pass catching tight end. They have Justin Jefferson, who is the best receiver in the league. But if you get them another weapon where you make Osgood now the third option instead of bumping him up to number 2, now that they cut the other guy, Adam Thielen, I think it's better for them at that point to fix that receiver spot, get that solidified, and then whoever you bring in next to Kirk Cousins is going to come into a really healthy offensive team. I mean, if you look at what the Vikings did, the Lions did. Vikings have weapons all over the place, and we'll talk about that a little bit later with Jared Goff. But Jared Goff didn't look good over there in Detroit because he's got so many weapons to choose from. I think the same thing with the Vikings. Give whoever you're going to bring in after Kirk Cousins a full kitchen of things to play with. You know what I mean? So that's where I go with that as well. Katrina, any idea?
Well, yes, I do have a thought. I say Vikings need to hurry up and get it together so that Lizzo can write another song about it.
Well, we're all here for that, right? I agree. That we, they used to blank out the Viking line in Green Bay. When it would play on Green Bay in radio in Green Bay,
that's
Wisconsin,
funny. I didn't know that.
It was blurred out, like as if it was like as if it was like a curse word. They used to blur that part out in Wisconsin.
That's hilarious because
the
Vikings
Fox,
are a curse
NFL
word
Fox
over
had
there.
a thing. Yeah,
I love it.
Gene, I want to pick your brain really quickly, just because when I was looking at kind of all their options. Would you do maybe a trade for Trey Lance because he's a Minnesota native? You
know what? It's funny. I saw just before we came on the show that Trey Lance is actually they're taking calls on Trey Lance, which we're probably talking about next. And I would too. Joey D, who was on our Friday show, is a huge 49er fan. And I've been saying to him, like, listen, he might not have a chance to start playing again. If Purdy's ready to go before him or Sam Darnold plays well in that offense, because let's face it, that's an offense that's built for quarterbacks to play well in. If Sam Darnold starts the season as the quarterback there and he's playing well, he's going to keep the job. They've already shown that they're willing to give whoever the healthy guy is that's playing well to keep the job. If Brock Purdy didn't get hurt in the last game of the year last year, or his last game of the year last year, guess what? He'd be the bar none the starter this year. The only reason why the question is because he's coming back from that injury, which we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But yeah, I think Trey Lance is. Listen, if I'm the Jets, I even look into Trey Lance. Like, what do I have to lose? Like, right? I mean, we have Zach Wilson. We know is Zach Wilson savable? We'll talk about Zach Wilson in a few minutes too. But I think I might even see if I guess let me ask you this, Abby, since we're going on Trey Lance for a second. Does Trey Lance cost you a first round pick? What does he cost you?
Definitely not a first round pick. But
that's what I'm saying. Fourth? But that's what I'm saying. So you see, I don't know about a fourth. I think they'd try to get a second and they'd settle for a third.
Without question, a second for Trey Lance. Absolutely.
And would I do a second rounder? I have 2 second rounders this year as a Jet. I might say, you know what? Take one of these second rounders. We'll take a flyer on Trey Lance. He's still on his rookie deal. Mm-hmm. He still has yet to even show what he can do. He's got a strong cannon of an arm to play in MetLife, and he's mobile. What was it? I think it was his first play in preseason ever, but he threw like an 80-yard bomb to, was it Ayuk maybe or Debo Samuel, whoever it was. If I could get him for a second round pick, I already have 2 second round picks. I would trade easily. I would say forget about Rodgers. He's going to cost us a fraction of what Rodgers would cost. A fraction. I mean, he's going to cost us pretty much.
But that's really betting on your future, because at least with Trey Lance, you have at minimum 10 seasons. Like, think about it. Like, you could really have like 10 seasons with him. Like, you could look at that.
If he's what everyone thinks he can be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, because we did think that about Zach. We picked Zach ahead of him.
No. Zach is still there. The only issue with Zach is mental.
I think
mental.
I think Zach's just not. I just don't think he's got it. I don't even think it's mental. I just don't think.
Listen, he's beautiful. He's got it. Okay, he's hot. He could get it.
Zach,
maybe he's a little Zach.
Okay.
Zach's a cutie patootie.
He looks like he's 12.
Yeah, I know. He gets my little cougar.
Cute.
He gets my little cougar motor going.
Well, he loves himself cougars, as we found out with his mom's
Hey,
friend.
put me in, coach.
I'll tell you when I gave up on Zach. When he threw for 92 yards. That was it. Nothing on the line, 92 yards. I won't forget when was it when we were playing the Jaguars and I think Quinn and Williams like got them in the red zone, stopped him right in the red zone, or
it was their first drive.
It was a fumble or something.
Yep, it was the first drive of the game.
Didn't even get in the end zone.
They moved. I think they
lost
lost
for you.
They lost yardage on that. It was the only drive they scored on, and they lost yardage on the drive. And it's the only drive they scored on. So yeah, I am completely on Zach Wilson too. But
okay,
you know what,
Zach, come over here. I'll give you a hug. I'll make it all
Katrina, make it feel better. All right, let's talk a little NFL. Some more of that. Demar Hamlin cleared to resume football activities after his January cardiac arrest. One of the scariest moments I think any football fan can say. Good news. I mean, really not much to say about this other than really good news. Caleb, anything to express on this, man?
Yeah, he shouldn't play. I would never play again if I was him. Are you
really?
What? Yeah. What did you not?
You
see
just
what
died
happened?
on. Yeah.
Like no. Like I get that you're cleared, you're healthy, cool. Go work in the front office. Come over here. Like the bill should like no. No. That's like almost dying in the ring and going back. Oh, I'm gonna get one more fight. Like you're that's not the smartest thing. Now, I understand why he would, because it's like falling off a horse, right?
Mm-hmm. Like
he feels like he has to get back out there just to get over it. But it's so it's dangerous. And I heard they said it was a freak accident. It was like the perfect combination. Like that will probably never happen again. Mm-hmm. And that may be true.
But it may.
But it may not. Like like that one, I wouldn't. I'm glad to know he's healthy enough to where he passes all the physicals and can, but I wouldn't. Like that should be it. You know what I mean? Like for real. But he's gonna come back, and I'll just pray for him every time.
I'm with Caleb on that one. I saw that. It looked crazy.
I could see that why he'd still want to play. Abby, what do you think?
I'm kind of with Caleb and Katrina on this. Like, great that you're cleared to play. Should you play is a totally different story. And I mean, I'm sorry. The Bills have a tough division to get through, and they haven't done it with Josh Allen the last 3 years, dude. It's it's just going to get tougher and tougher because these teams are just
getting better.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I don't know if I would ever step on the field again. It's a miracle from God that he survived and everything. And I appreciate the Bills being very supportive, but it's also, I know he's clear to physically play. Mentally though, have you worked through this trauma? Because that's what it is.
Hell no.
But
exactly.
maybe playing again is what helps him work through it, though. No, don't you think getting back on that horse, like Caleb, you use the expression of getting back on the horse?
I understand it. I get it, and yes, that will. But what I mean is, at any time, it just feels like every time he gets ready to take a hit, everybody's gonna cringe, right? And it's gonna change the game. Like players aren't gonna. You're gonna get this. You're gonna get one or two things. You're gonna get players that are like, all right, you out here, then let's play, and they're gonna blast him. Try to run through them, or they'll be like, I don't want to be the one and take a knee or fall or to avoid contact with him. That's what I'm saying, because he almost died. I believe
he did. I think he actually did die for a second.
I've been watching football since I was about 7, full on. I've seen people get paralyzed. I've seen that. I've seen that. I saw Daryl Staley get paralyzed. I watched that live. All that.
I saw the Dennis Byrd live. It was actually at the game.
Right.
Dennis Byrd.
I've never seen what I saw happen to him. And it's my favorite sport and it made me not want to watch it. I don't want to see him play. You know what? That's what I'm gonna say. I don't want to see him play. That's what my issue is. I don't want to.
I get both sides of it. I do. I think my sentiment on it is, I'm a believer in fate, meaning if and not fate like, well, if that happened again, fate and maybe faith a little bit too.
Okay.
I look at it this way. I remember when the plane that landed in the Hudson that almost crashed, and all those people that survived it, Sullenberger or whatever, landed it in the Hudson River. If I was on that plane, I would, like, again, I fly, but I'm not particularly fond of flying. I get a little anxiety when I fly, just because you can't control it. But if I was on that plane, I would think, you know what? I'll fly for every day. I would fly every day the rest of my life, because I know if I survived it, what's the odds of being in 2 plane crashes, right? What's the odds of being in 2 plane crashes that you would actually not survive another one? So, like, my thing is this, is if I'm him, I'm almost feeling like, what are the odds? It was such a freak accident to happen in the first place. What are the odds that something like could ever remotely happen to me ever again?
I would say high for that guy, because you're in a full contact sport.
But like, it's like Caleeb said before, he had to get hit in the right spot at the very precise microsecond that it happened. Because it was like in between beats, and
Yeah, I get it.
I'm not a doctor, but
the point is, you get hit for a living. So
yeah, exactly. And I'll say this: if I was to, God forbid, if I was to get shot and survive, I wouldn't want to get shot again.
Thank you.
To go to the same neighborhood.
Back on the horse.
Shot.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
When you put it that way, it makes a little more sense.
If I was a gangbanger and I got shot, I might stop gangbanging.
You might get out the game.
Now. You know what I mean? Like I'm just saying, like I wouldn't tempt that. Yeah. I just wouldn't. Just me.
So I want to know, how much is he getting paid?
Like,
what's the difference if he stops?
He's on a rookie deal. He'll retire.
So he's not even doing it for the money.
Right? No, he's on a rookie deal, isn't he?
It's for him. It's for his mind. He's a young dude. I think he's like 23 or something.
I think, I was gonna say 24 or something like that. I think he's on a rookie deal still.
Yeah, so. But I just wish the best for him. That's all
I wish the best for him too. He's a rival. He's on a rival team, but I still listen. I root for him now, at least on that team. And listen, at minimum, he's at least earned the right to do what he wants to do. Hopefully, if he really wants to play, and he has the ability still to play, hopefully he still gets the opportunity to play. It seems like the Bills will give him that opportunity.
Oh no, the Bills have to. They can't not.
I could see them doing it. Oh, he just signed a 2-year extension worth $54.
Damn.
No, he
didn't.
No
wonder he's back on that horse.
I might play too.
I didn't. $55 million horse saying, screw it.
That's Demar Hamlin. Shake your head into the things. I can see your face. You had it wrong. He had it wrong. That's not him. I was just saying, there's no way he signed a $54 million.
I was thinking Bills are the nicest football team in the history of the NFL if they gave him that. Because I would say $54 million, that's 20-something million a season.
That's what I'm saying. That's quarterback money. Patty,
yeah, like,
next time get it right before you post that. Poorly produced.
I was going to say, now he has to play. Right. Now he has to play.
Yeah, nobody blame him then. All right, so let's move on. Lions quarterback Jared Goff have yet to talk extension. Justifiably so, Abby? Would you give this guy an extension? I thought he had a decent year last year.
I mean, so he's got 2 years remaining, I think. I mean, the thing first of all, the Lions just need to be worried about making the damn playoffs at this point in time.
They came the closest they've came in years.
They're the team this year that I really think can make the playoffs. They were this close last year. So that'd be someone I would be afraid of, essentially, coming into this next season. I mean, the thing is, I forgot to look up his stats and whatnot, but I mean, the Lions are stacked.
Offensively, one of the best young football teams in the league. Defensively, the worst defense, and that's the reason why they missed the playoffs. It wasn't so much. It wasn't Goff. It was the defense. I do have his stats, so I'll give them real quick to you. Last year, this is just for last year, just over 4,400 yards, 4,438 yards, 99.3 rating, 29 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. That's a quality year for a guy who doesn't look like he had it up until then, right? Mm-hmm. Weapons all over the place. One of the best young offensive lines in football. I I give him that extension. I think right now, pay him now before these other guys before you get the Burrows contracts done and all the other guys make more money where the next contract always has to be the higher contract. I say get it done now where you can get him a little bit cheaper than you would if you wait till all the other big guys get their contracts done. I think real quick, I just want to say one last piece. I think what would be a fair contract for him is something similar to the extension that Geno Smith signed. No?
Yeah. I think he's better than Geno.
Oh, he's definitely better than Geno. but not by far. But not by far. He also had a ton of weapons that Geno doesn't have either. Although Geno did have weapons. But Caleb, what's your thought?
No, I was just going to say, kind of to what you guys were referring to or alluding to, is that he's going to want quarterback extension money. Because, see, the market is so high now. Like, he's going to get nothing less than $100 million, $85 million, like guaranteed, though. Yeah. I'm talking about guaranteed dollars, right? That's what the Lions don't want to do. I don't know if he's worth that, especially with all these new quarterbacks that are going to be coming out in the next 2 seasons, right? So it's like, do you want to commit that much guaranteed money to somebody? And he's going to demand it. This is Jared Goff. He played in a Super Bowl. Like, it's not like, this is just some regular Joe Schmo quarterback. Like, this guy has a resume. So if what's his name in New York? The Giants.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones could get 80-something million guaranteed. What do you think Goff is going to command? Right.
Goff's worth more than Jones.
Exactly. So if I was the Lions, do I want to commit that to him? If I'm not 100% in. If they are, then absolutely he's worth it. But if they're not,
I think they gotta be. He had a good year. They have no other option. I think they gotta be.
Man. Because this is the NFL. Like, you want to win. It was good. So that means, what if you had a better quarterback? You might have got to the playoffs or maybe the second round, right?
That was an epically bad defense, though.
So
did we lose him?
That.
We lost you for a second. Say that. We losing him again?
No,
and we so that point, your internet messed up with that last point you made. Just make that point again.
No, what I was just saying is that the Lions have always had a bad defense. They usually had a solid offense, even back when they had Megatron. Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? They had a solid offense, but the defense. So if I was the Lions, that's where I would do it. And if I got 2 more years, he can wait 1 more year to get it done.
And that's what I think. I
agree with that.
He's not stressed out right now either. I think he made a remark like he could care less. I mean, they had one of the best records that they've had since 2016. They were 9-8.
That's right.
And like I said, this close to the playoffs, I think 1 or 2 more wins would have easily put you in there. And again, the defense is what is holding them back. So, I mean, I think they do. He's not worried about it. I'm not too worried about it, but I would give him another year. I expect him to be even better next year. And if he makes the playoffs next year, that's a wrap. Get the deal done.
Yeah, at that point. But you also might have to pay even more if that happens, though. You might be able to get a little cheaper. You do it now. But you might be able to get him at a cheaper rate. But you might be able to get him at a cheaper rate now. Maybe you get him at like 35 per, and then but you wait till next year, you might have to pay 45 per.
I mean,
it might be worth it.
I'm sure you guys talked about it. What did you think of the Hurts deal? Because that was insane amount of money.
We did talk about it. It's the second most guaranteed behind Deshaun, which is a bad contract.
Yeah.
I know Caleb is he's a Philly guy, so I know he loves his Eagles. So I'm sure he's happy with the deal. I'm not 100% sold on Jalen Hurts being there yet.
Neither am I. I'm not either.
How did you feel about the contract?
Well, no, I don't. I mean, I love it for him as a person, as a human being. He deserves. I'm like, you never get paid what you're worth. You get paid what you.
I'll never.
Right.
I never fault a player for taking as much as they can. So I agree. So
that's great. But I'm not sold on him as our quarterback. No, his accuracy is better, but it's still not as good. Mm-hmm. He's decent. I still can't get the Alabama Jalen Hurts out of my head. I saw him get ditched for Tua. Okay. Yeah. So it's like I'm nervous. I think we overcommitted, but we can't lose him. So I understand why the Eagles would do that, right?
Yeah, you're running up against the clock.
Is he worth that much? No, but that's what the market is now.
Yeah.
That's what the market is. So you can't be mad at him for what the market says a quarterback gets this kind of money. Kyler Murray got guaranteed $189 million. You know what I mean? Who's never even been to the playoffs.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No,
Well, then the reason-
I think he went once. I think
And he might be shorter than me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I'm bringing up the deal is, you're talking about all these deals being signed and it might be higher next year, but we've seen the Deshaun Watson not work out. Kyler Murray may not be ready to go till halfway through the season. Yeah, Jalen Hurts worked out. They still lost the Super Bowl, though. So it's like we've seen him. I get the price may or may not go up, but I'm saying, we've seen these $1 million deals not go anywhere and be totally not worth it. So there, if it was successful each and every time someone signed, it would be a totally different story. Yeah. But I'm like I said, Deshaun Watson got all that money. That dude had an awful season.
Well, he only played half the season, this season is when you can really judge him, right? Yeah. So we can give him that. But Abby, think about this. Wait until Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert's contracts come. You talk about guaranteed. I guarantee Joe Burrow might rival Deshaun Watson. He's easily going to get $200 million guaranteed. I'm telling you now. Damn. Joe Burrow, almost guaranteed. And Justin Herbert, who happens to be my favorite quarterback, I think he's so oh my God, he just needs that. Oh, he's so dope to me. His contract is going to be insane without a playoff win. Watch.
I don't blame him for no playoff wins. I blame the coaching over there. If he had a better coaching, they could have went to the Super Bowl this year. I still think
he's phenomenal. He's my favorite quarterback. I love Justin Herbert.
And that team's a loaded team. I really do think that they are just better coaching over there, and I think that team is ready to compete for a Super Bowl. That's my opinion. But all right, so Zach Wilson was present for the first day of Jets offseason programming. Abby, does that even matter?
No, it doesn't, but I don't even know why. There was a tweet going around that he wasn't there. Zach Wilson has proven that he has really good work ethic. There was another article last year that he didn't show up for something else or that he was late to practices, and that was proven false. Kid's got a good work ethic. He shows up. I mean, is that huge news? No, I expect you to show up considering you're number 2 and your job is on the line. I expect you to be there.
But is there something to be concerned about because let's face it, he was the captain. He was listed as a captain last year. But how often does a star quarterback go to college and not be the captain of his college football team? Has that ever even happened? That's one of the things that makes me not trust him. And I overlooked it during the draft because I saw all the physical tools and I saw that one play where he rolled out to the left and threw it across his body to the right, about 80 yards down the field, and in his, not the combine but his pro day. I saw all those plays that he made in his pro day, and I fell in love with the player there. But I'm not going to lie, there was a part of me that said, should I be concerned that his college team did not name the starting quarterback of their college team the captain? And I think we're starting to see some of those things. The reasons why you wouldn't be a captain, we're seeing as kind of wrinkles in him now with his kind of he's got this douchiness about him that I think it's not captivating the rest of the team. And I think that's part of what has been the problem is he's not really cohesive with the rest of the team, I feel.
Yeah, and he's not a leader. And I know
that's where I'm getting at, yeah.
Yeah, and the video went viral from the draft, and I forgot who he was standing next to. And it's kind of like him, I'm uncomfortable. And it was when he was drafted. Yep. And that just shows you your lack of confidence there. I'd be standing there I'm just as good as these guys. Who the hell are you? You know what I mean? But and
he looked like a ball boy standing next to grown men.
No, yeah, and he looked so awkward. And we should have known that as a first sign that he was not going to be able to lead this team.
Caleeb, can he be saved? Can he become a leader? Or is the Zach Wilson experiment over?
Well, absolutely. The question that you're asking, the answer is absolutely yes, he can. It just all depends on him as a person, who he wants to be, what he wants to do, right? You don't have to be the nicest guy. You can be, you said douchey. You could absolutely, there's a lot of people that would say Aaron Rodgers is douchey.
Oh, he definitely is, but he plays a certain way on the field that allows him.
Okay, but that's because that's him. So what I mean is, it's not about Zach's personality. You don't have to like him, right? But if he goes out there and shows he's got that grit and that desire to win, and he's willing to leave it out there on the field, people will follow that. You know what I mean? And
Gotcha.
if he doesn't, then I don't think it's gonna be any value to the Jets or anybody else. And then in that case, if I was Zach, I start acting classes, I get in really good shape, and I start modeling underwear and all that, because Katrina is gonna be
I'm
there to
already
support.
buying. I'm
And
already down. Mm-hmm.
there you go. And I would start my Baker Mayfield. I'm starting to do commercials. I'm doing all of that, because you gotta build something outside of it, because football's not gonna pay the bills too much longer.
Yeah.
We should have known something was up when his mom was a bigger star of the draft night than he was. I mean, his mom was
Well,
the
that's
MVP of the
because-
draft night.
That's just because men are perverts. So that was why.
pretty much.
And you know what? I feel sorry for Zach in that response. Do you understand what he went through as a kid when
I can
people
imagine.
saw his mom? Like,
I mean,
he was
I
on a
wouldn't know,
football
but-
team, so all the coaches are like, Zach, we need to talk with your mom after practice. Hey, Zach, you're starting. You're starting for the whole season, buddy. You know what I mean? That might be a reason why he got carried a little bit.
It
And
could
now I'm gonna say to him,
Forrest
"Come to
Gump?
mama."
You ever see Forrest Gump when his mom when
Yep.
Sally Field got Forrest into the school?
Yep.
Right? You don't know what it is.
Poor Mrs. Wilson. But God bless her. But you know what? On that note, let's move on to the next thing. Let's get on. Let's go back to a little bit of NBA action. De'Aaron Fox wins the inaugural Clutch Player Award. I feel like that it fits him perfectly this year. Caleb, what was your take?
I think he deserves it. I mean, if you look at the last two games
Mm-hmm.
in the playoffs, like when the stuff matters,
Yeah.
he's been clutch. Like, for real. Like, he's come through. Like, when he needs to hit the three, he's hitting the three. When he needs to do something on defense, he's doing it on defense. Like he's showing up for real. So I have no issue with it. None whatsoever. I think he absolutely is deserving of that honor right now. Absolutely. And if not him, it will be Kawhi.
Kawhi, when Kawhi plays, I don't even know if it's clutch. I think he's just always good. Like, I don't even know if you can even discriminate at that
last night,
point.
what he was doing, they lost, but I'm talking Kawhi was, even Abby, who was an avid Suns fan, had to say Kawhi Leonard was balling. You know what I mean? Like,
He can't be stopped.
If he had a little bit of help
like-
on that team, they would be dangerous. Because like we already said, Phoenix does not have the depth. If they just had a little bit of help on that Clipper team, it could be wraps. Also, so let's talk a little bit about Giannis and Ja injury updates. So it looks like Giannis, they say he's day to day, but looks like he'll be back for the next game. And but for Ja, it doesn't look like he's going to be back. They're not too optimistic he's going to play. How much do you think he's needed over there in Memphis, Ja? Like, I think the Bucks will be fine. I think he's going to get back. But let's talk Ja for a minute, Caleb. What's your take on that? If Ja isn't back, are they in trouble?
Oh, they're done. And to be honest, even with Ja, they're not going to beat this Lakers team. Now they're playing with confidence. Like now, see, belief is everything. When you believe something, and you got AD and LeBron, you got Hachimura, he's playing good. You got my boy Austin Powers balling. Like, that Lakers squad is dangerous. Like,
and they've done it before, so it's not like they just believe that they can do it. They believe they can do it, and they've done it before, which is like almost like proof positive. You know what I mean?
When LeBron James don't have to do nothing in the fourth quarter for you, and you win, man, that, like, you got to think about that. Those players didn't need LeBron. That's how good the Lakers are running right now. Memphis is done. Like, and Ja's hand is messed up, so he can't grip the ball. Ja is not the greatest shooter around. So he dunks, he does all that. So imagine, take that out. Say he's able to shoot and do his thing. What about on defense? What about when somebody smacks that hand? What about when they go to block the shot? Like, all of that. That's where the issue is, when you brace to fall. Like, I think it's done. I think it's a wrap. And to real quick on Giannis, the Bucks don't need him right now. He can actually miss the next game, and they can still win that series. But Ja, nah. And even with a healthy Ja, I still think they lose. So there's that.
And right now it looks like it's a soft tissue bruising. The MRI revealed.
Which is the worst. That's
the ones that become the nagging injuries. You know what I mean?
Yes, it just hurts.
That lingers. So, but Abby, what do you think? Ja, how on the same page?
Oh yeah, they're done without him.
and like Caleb said, I think they might be done with him because he made a good point before too about Steven Adams not being there. Steven Adams is the heart and soul of that team. He's the defender of Ja. Whenever Ja gets into a little scuffle, a little skirmish, Steven Adams is the one that basically was like shutting it down, like on the sideline. So
LA is gonna grind it out. They will. They had to grind to get in the tournament, the play-in game. They're gonna grind it out the whole rest of the way.
What do we think?
Don't want to see them.
No. This especially
you don't want to see either LA team.
Very true.
Like they're scrappy.
Yeah, which is how dangerous. If you're calling a LeBron run team scrappy, they already got the talent. If you're gonna call them scrappy too, that's a dangerous team.
Mm-hmm. No, they are. They're not as scrappy as the Clippers. Clippers are just on a like really rough riders, and I think that's that Russell Westbrook thing. But those Lakers aren't soft, and now they're playing with confidence. And LeBron has confidence in those other guys. Because before it was just, hey, AD, it's just me and you. So if AD goes down, it's a wrap. Mm-hmm. Not so much now. Like that, they showed me something that last game. I was like, oh, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. And LeBron knows how to get people to play well together. That's his superpower.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So It's going to be interesting. They're not going to be an easy out. Do I think Memphis will win 1 or 2? Yes. But I think they lose this series. I really do.
I still stick with my original scoring of Lakers taking the series 4-2. That's what I had in the beginning. I still stick with that.
I can see it in 6, 1,000%.
So, all right. So what else we got? We got that's all on the football. But go back to football. Some more somewhat Jet news. DeAndre Hopkins hints he'd prefer a trade to the Bills, Chiefs, or the Patriots, Jets. Abby, we say go ahead and get out of here. Don't even bother coming over here, right? Like I don't watch it.
Man, I was like, get the fuck out of here then. Sorry. Like I saw that video and I'm like, dude, then we don't want you. We don't want you anyways. And right now, no team wants you.
Kick rocks. Like, you're overpaid. You're a diva.
Yeah, and what I'm really surprised, so I like D-Hop, but what I'm really surprised is that he didn't want to go to the Patriots because Bill Belichick has told him, oh, I think you're a star. And I think he would utilize him if he was there. And they act like obviously I'm a huge Jets fan, but I give the Patriots their credit. With Mac Jones, they have potential. It's not like they have nothing there. And they act like the Jets have no weapons. You just want to go automatically to a winning culture, winning team, and you don't want to grow with us, then we don't want you either.
Exactly. And the Patriots could do the Patriots, depending on obviously the quarterback situation is to be settled. We'll talk about that in a minute, but they could do very much similar what they did for Randy Moss when Randy Moss, we thought Randy Moss was done coming from Oakland, comes to New England. Could you see this? Go ahead.
You're missing something, Gene. And I'm surprised you and Abby both aren't paying attention to.
I think we're just
they're offended. They're mad. Offended. They just took that personally.
You guys are Jet fans, so you're very emotional, and I understand emotion is not logic, so I get it. Here's the deal: it's about the quarterback.
Yeah.
You talking about? He didn't say Chiefs or Bills. He said Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. It's who I want throwing me the football. Not Zach Wilson. I know he's cute, but I don't care, right? And Mac Jones, really? Like, you talk about Randy Moss. It was freaking Tom Brady.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? And you forget, he's a wide receiver. He gets paid based off catching footballs. Do you want a guy who's going to put it right here or a guy who's going to lead you into the middle where you get blasted?
Well, I don't think really Garrett Wilson's complaining. He ain't complaining when he gets the ball. And he was offensive rookie of the year.
Oh, Garrett Wilson.
No, I understand that. But this is D-Hop. He's been in the league for a minute. See, It's not, you forget he was in Houston forever.
Oh, I know.
Right? Yeah. Then he goes to Arizona and Kyler does this right now. I grant the whole steroid thing, but I don't blame him for that because it's football. Hey, you got to do whatever you got to do. So whatever. But D-Hop, he is a phenomenal receiver. When healthy, he's easily top 3.
I think he can fit in well with the Bills. I actually do think that. I think him and what's his name, Stephon Diggs.
Oh,
even Stephon Diggs has expressed his frustration with the Buffalo Bills. So you're walking into the same environment essentially.
But you have a better quarterback. You got Josh Allen. The best. What D-Hop can do is be a huge decoy. He would be great in Kansas City because people have to key. You got to give 2 defenders for him. That opens up the field. Could you imagine him on the outside with Travis Kelce on the end? Oh my! How do you defend that? Right? Like it's more like chess. So I understand what he's saying, and he's been in the league so long. He wants to win, and I can't blame him for that. You know what I mean?
And I do too. I think it's the way he made the face. Like,
that's what it is.
This, he straight up turned his head the whole opposite way. Like the Jets were a piece of trash.
And
I'm like, stop it.
And I get that. And you know why? Because I tell you this: had they said, "Oh, A-Rod, we just signed A-Rod for X amount of dollars in these next 2 seasons," he would have said,
"Oh yeah,
my phone is open. Call me, Aaron. What we doing?" I'm telling you right now, he would have if it was Aaron Rodgers.
I agree. Because you saw even through free agency, teams look at us differently in free agency. Like Zeke wanted to come here, Zeke Elliott wanted to come here, and we didn't even want him. We actually got to turn away a star player. we didn't even need him. So I agree. Had that not been something that has been just sitting on pause for like the last month, that could have been a very different answer. But it's almost like it's like in high school when one girl goes to the other girl like, "Oh, what do you think about dating this guy, and this guy?" And she goes and the girl says your name, and the other girl gives this face like, "Oh no." You'd be like, you know what? I wouldn't date you anyway.
They're like over dramatizing it, like with emphasis. That came from his chest that he did that whole.
No, I get it.
Swerve,
I love how you totally went off the rails. You're like, you know what? Get out of here. We don't want you. We don't need you.
No. You have to be that way. I would be that way if he made that face about going to Philly, right? I would say I would feel the same way, but I can't act like he's not like D-Hop. Like he's still that dude. Like, oh my gosh, like his ability as a wide receiver is otherworldly.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
Philly would be on his list if the Philly didn't already have a well-stocked receiving core. Philly would be on.
We don't need it. We don't need it.
I'm saying you don't need it, but if you
we have enough. But he would be a major help to the Chiefs and the Bills. You know what I mean? And so there's that. And I think the only reason why the Jets got that is because 1, they don't have a quarterback, and 2, traditionally the Jets have been horrific. You know what I mean? So
don't remind me of the last 12 years.
Reminding of my whole life.
It's true. So you know what I mean? It's okay. I mean, it's just what it is. Now I think it's changing, but it is what it is. A-Rod get there, everything changes for you. Guaranteed.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm just a scorn Jet fan, and I lash out irrationally when we get.
No, we're over the top. We're dramatic. We go all out for the team. It's
been too long. We're starving for a win. All right, let's get
haven't won a Super Bowl since Broadway Joe.
I have yet to see one.
Since I've been a Jet fan, they've been terrible. That's why, people ask why I'm a Jet fan. I followed Mark Sanchez from USC. I've been wanting to go to USC since I was in 6th grade. So every single, basically, besides those first couple years, the Jets have been terrible. And I knew no one would ever call me a bandwagon for ever being a Jets fan.
No, that's right. You came in and you've been ever since, and it's been nothing really to cheer for since. Yep. Hopefully that changes, whether it be Aaron Rodgers or whoever. I'll be able to Trey Lance at this point. But let's talk about our top 3 quarterbacks in the league. Active quarterbacks. Abby, let's start with you. Who do you have as your favorite 3 quarterbacks to watch? And Katrina, you're next, so start.
At the top of the list, you have to go with Pat Mahomes, man. His accolades speak for themselves. My God, he cannot be stopped. And what's crazy is this year, no one saw the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl. No, I didn't. I thought
I didn't either. I thought they were going to finish in 3rd this year.
Yeah,
only because I expected the rest of the division to play so much better. Not so much because of them, but the rest of the division I expected to play better.
Just a 2-time Super Bowl winner, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time MVP winner, Super Bowl MVP winner. I mean, he's just dynamic all around. My God, those stats are 108 and 105. Look at that. Who does that? So, Pat Mahomes was easily number 1 for me. Now, where I came in at, and it was kind of interchangeable with me, but I actually put Joe Burrow 2nd because he's changed kind of for me the whole culture of the Bengals. And just the way I know he tore his ACL kind of the first year. Ever since then, he's just been totally dominating. And I'm telling you, if they just get over the little hump of getting over the Chiefs, which I love to see that matchup. My God, the fact that we've gotten it like twice, I love to see it. And then kind of with third, I feel like I had to put Hurts because he just signed that ridiculous deal. And I mean, he was in the Super Bowl this year. And he's just as dynamic. I mean, otherwise, too, I was looking at kind of Allen, of course, but he's not as stellar as Hurts. He's not as stellar as Mahomes. He's not on the level of Joe Burrow either for me. So that's kind of the four I had kind of. Well, the last two were kind of interchangeable. But, I mean, Mahomes easily number one. Joe Burrow easily number two. 3 is where you can start, I feel like, talking a lot.
All right. What about you, Katrina? Are you ready to go? You want me to give you a little bit of another?
No,
beat?
I want to be last.
All right. Well, let me go, and then we'll go to Caleb. I have it a little differently than you. I have Joe Burrow as my number one, and the reason why I don't have him as the number one, why I don't think a lot of people are going to have him as the number one, I have him as number one, is because I think he's a running back away from being even more dominant than he already is. I think Joe Mixon is way overrated. We'll talk about Joe Mixon in a little bit, but I don't think he doesn't really have a quality running game, and yet he still will put up the numbers like any other quarterback can put in the league. If you see him back, he reminds me of Brady early in his career, where he just looks like, and they call him Joe Cool for a reason, right? He just looks like nothing phases him. Nothing bothers him. Doesn't matter. He's always got a smile on his face. Could care less. He reminds me of Joe Montana and Tom Brady. If they would have if they were to able to create a combination child of the two of them, that's who he reminds me of. And then I go Patrick Mahomes, because obviously Patrick Mahomes, if he's not number one, he's got to be at number 2 on most lists. And we don't have to rehash his stats. Abby already told us enough about him, but I have Patrick Mahomes second. And my third is Justin Herbert, because I think another guy that with better coaching around him, not so much for him necessarily, but just for offensive scheme and for the defense, I think, and also they've been marred by some injuries at rough spots. Like they were missing one receiver the whole first half of the season. They were missing the second receiver the second portion of the season. I feel like if that team is healthy, he might even be better. I might even put him above Mahomes at times. Justin Herbert looks like to be the part of the guy that we're going to see. To me, these are like the Brady and Mannings of this generation, where it's going to be these 3 guys battling it out. And the funny thing is, they're all AFC guys. I don't know how many guys. I know you had Hurts. He's an NFC guy. I don't know how many other guys are really in the NFC that we're going to really put that you could put in this top 3. But Caleb, who does you up 3?
So, all right. The question wasn't who are the best 3 quarterbacks. You said who are your top 3 favorite to watch. At least that's what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, you can go that way too.
So
that's
my
fine.
list will be different, because if it's who is the best, then I have to go with who's the best, and that's a different list. So I'm gonna go with who I like to watch. Like
that's fair. Go with
number 1, Justin Herbert, my favorite quarterback, as I said. I love it. I love him. I think he's phenomenal. He's one great coach away from doing something like major. I just think I just love watching him play. I love his game. The other quarterback I love to watch is Josh Allen, right? Love watching Josh Allen play. I just like his style of play. I enjoy, because he plays with that dog thing, right?
Like a Cam Newton type.
I love watching Patrick Mahomes. I love his skill set. I love how he plays. I love watching Kyler Murray, and I love watching Joe Burrow. And so, but the skills, they would go in different ways, like who's the best and all that. But just the people I love watching, those quarterbacks I can watch at any time. I love the way Kyler Murray plays. He plays like he's playing outside at your school for intramural football. When we used to play at lunch in 5th grade, and you just run around and throw and do all that. He does that. And so does Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes has that.
Herbert is more traditional. Stand up, stand there, see it, woo, right? Perfect throw, perfect timing. It's beautiful. So I love watching those guys play. I love watching Aaron Rodgers play. I really do. I just love, because it's effortless. I just love it. And so I'm a big fan of how those guys play the game. If it came to who do I think is the best and all of that, then I would have to switch it, like I said. But those guys. And I also love watching Lamar Jackson. I just wish he would just get a contract so I could see him. But I love watching him as well.
Especially
Even
when healthy.
I love watching
Tua surprised me this year. I didn't expect him to have as good a year. And if it wasn't for injuries, who knows what we could have seen. But yeah, I didn't expect to see what we saw from Tua this year. So I
even love watching Hurts because he's quarterback of my team. So I'm when it comes to the Eagles, I get like y'all with the Jets. Now all my logic is out the window.
Yeah.
Now I'm emotional, right? It's the same reason why I hate watching Dak Prescott play because I hate the Cowgirls. No matter what, that team, I always want to see do bad. I do not care. So I hate watching Dak Prescott play. Only when he's throwing an interception is when I'm happy.
Which is a good portion of times. I mean, but you know what? Let me ask you a question then, being such a Herbert fan, and I do respect his game, and I do think that the coaching is really, really hindering him over there. Is he on the wrong team?
Yes. Well, no. He's on the wrong team because of the coach. He has the right ingredients. The coach that's how important coaching is. See, people overlook the importance of a coach, man. People that know how to put it together. The coach of the Chargers is not, you saw he had a 30-point lead and lost?
Oh, God.
27.
A 27-point lead and lost. That's all coaching.
Yeah.
The plays he was calling, all of that. It's like, nah, man. So it's extremely important to have a great coach. And when Herbert gets one, I think that's when he'll take a major leap forward. Imagine if Andy Reid was Herbert's coach.
Oof.
Right?
Yeah.
Imagine if Bill Belichick had Herbert.
Well, Kyle Shanahan.
Right? Mm-hmm. Shanahan, Mike Tomlin. I mean, like, think about it. Like these guys, oh my goodness, man. Like it's a different stratosphere. Even Pete Carroll up in Seattle, like those guys. What? Because they're quarterback coaches. Sean Payton, if he didn't have Russell and had Herbert, that Broncos team would be a big problem in the AFC West. You know what I mean? So again, coaching is so important. It gets overlooked, and then sometimes it gets overrated, right? Like what I mean by that is sometimes a coach, you can just think it's the coach, and then the coach goes to a different situation, and what happened? Right? Because something, and I think Belichick had a little bit of that with the Tom Brady effect, right? Where Tom was like, all right, I'm gonna leave, do my own thing, and then go wins the Super Bowl, and Belichick was struggling, right? So people were like, dang, I guess Tom, because it was always as if it was the Patriot way, like it was just Belichick. Bill never said that, to his credit, but a lot of the media was saying that. And that's why I think Tom had to go do his thing just to show, like, I'm me. And that last Super Bowl, I think, really cemented his legacy. Like, okay, all right. The first three, all Bill. The last three, Tom.
I agree with that. I could see that.
Well, Tom is the top of my list.
Well, Tom's not playing right now, so you can't pick him.
Listen, he played last year.
All right, fair. I'll tell you what.
And
Katrina,
he's on screen.
I'm happy you played along, so we'll give it to you.
And he's on screen. Did you not see 80 for Brady?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't see
Maybe
it.
he's not on the TV screen. He's on the movie screen.
My wife saw it. I didn't see it.
And he's beautiful. And he's my favorite. So he's at the top of the list because he's still on screen.
Okay.
Okay, Katrina, I'm gonna guess the next two for you. You tell me.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Zach Wilson and then Jimmy Garoppolo. Am I wrong?
Okay, yes, Jimmy.
Okay. They were number 4 and 5 based on looks. You ain't wrong. But for number 2, I had Aaron Rodgers, as long as he doesn't have a mustache.
Okay.
That's important because
long,
I like to
long
watch
hair
him.
Aaron or short hair Aaron?
Cleaned up. Not long hair, no mustache, none of that. Like
no ayahuasca,
GQ
no
face.
dark rooms.
No, I need you cleaned up.
Nothing wrong with Aya.
And then my number 3 is Patrick Mahomes because he's cute. His little wife's cute. They're cute. I like them. Also, he's a winner.
She's a
But
winner.
then, She is annoying. I
just
didn't
can't-
say
she
I
just-
want to hear them talk. I said they're cute.
They are. They have cute kids too.
She just did an article where she clapped at all the. What did she say? Like, all the girls that's still trying to holler at him at Patrick. She came at them the other day in an article I saw. She did an interview.
Listen, she got to get used to that. Your husband has a $400 million contract. Sorry, sweetheart.
Those diggers are everywhere. That's what you signed on for.
Just do what you need to do at home, and you'll be okay.
Do your little fitness videos, whatever you post. Take care of the two babies now, and I mean,
you'll be
I
okay.
zip it with the clapbacks.
Yeah, I didn't like her when she. I think when the Chiefs won and she was shooting that champagne off of the thing and getting everybody wet. I'm sorry, I'm fighting. I'm looking up. Like, what are you doing, girl? I don't want to be sprayed right now. Do that in your own nice little suite you got while all the poor people down here, well, they're not even that because they're paying a lot for money.
Yeah, they're at the zoo. They're good.
Yeah,
they're
but
good.
while you're the little people who you think are beneath you, just chill. Let me chill with my $18 beer, okay?
Yeah.
I feel you.
All right, so we got a couple more things before we get out of here. Let's go right back to some football. Mac Jones says the Patriots offense is excited to work with Bill O'Brien, as they should. Last year they had a defensive coordinator as their offensive coordinator. Abby, do we expect anything better with Mac Jones, or is this just lip service? Do we expect him to be a little better with a new coordinator?
I expect him to be better than so obviously rookie year, pretty good, kind of not so good the second year. I expect him to bounce back this year. So,
but is it because do you think it's because he's ready to bounce back at third year in the league, or do you think it's because of Bill O'Brien?
I think Bill O'Brien is definitely a factor in that, but I mean, I think it's him mentally too. You know what I mean? I think he was really disappointed last year, and he knew he disappointed. I think he knew he disappointed Belichick as well.
Yeah,
but they struggled. You know what I mean? I don't mind Mac Jones. He's like a fun guy, but he's also very serious. I think he knows how to carry the team. He does something
he showed a lot of fire on the sidelines.
Exactly, which is kind of surprising because he just looks like a quiet little goofy dude.
Yeah.
But so I see that dog in him, should I say? But yeah, I expect him to bounce back this year. Fingers crossed. No, not fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, wait, it's Abby. How dare you?
Could care less.
How dare you?
You know what? The thing is, though, that the AFC East, is gonna be tough.
It's a year or two away from being the best division in football, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If we get Aaron Rodgers, it's anyone.
Oh, then it's this year it might be the best division. But Caleb, what do you think? Do you think Mac can turn it around with Bill O'Brien over there as the OC?
Yeah, but I agree with Abby. It's really going to depend on him and his own confidence level. Belichick is really the offensive coordinator. O'Brien's going to make suggestions. Bill is going to say yes, right? It's like that's how he runs it. Just hopefully O'Brien gives Mac the confidence, because that's all it is, right? Because the style of offense is going to stay the Patriot way. It's what Tom Brady did. You're going to throw 5 to 10 yard routes, nothing too much more than that, and hand the ball off. That's what you're going to do, period, right? So if he can feel comfortable and good in that, I think he'll have a great season. If he's trying to do more or something different, that's when I think he's going to run into problems. You know what I mean? Like trying to stretch the field more than what Bill wants to and all of that. So it'll be interesting, but it's more about his mental space. You know what I mean? Like if he's feeling confident and feeling hungry, I think he'll have an okay season. Here's the deal. He's going to be on the worst team in the AFC East because the Jets are a better team, even without Aaron Rodgers. They're a better team. The Bills, don't even talk about it. In Miami, don't even what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So the only issue is he's on the Patriots. So it's like they're this dynasty, great legacy team, and he's going to look like he came in and couldn't do nothing. So, like, that's the confident thing that I'm feeling. Like hopefully he doesn't allow himself to get sucked into that. Because they're like, we went from Tom Brady to this guy. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's the thing.
I get it. All right. And, wrong one. Bengals expected to ask Joe Mixon to take a pay cut. I think I probably, if I'm the Bengals, and let me know what you guys think, I probably waive him. I probably cut him this year, or trade him if I get a 5th or 6th rounder. I'll take it, and I go up and I try to do what I can to draft Bijan Robinson out of Texas. I think they
Everybody's trying to get him though.
But
I doubt the Bengals
but running
will be
backs
able
don't
to
go. But running backs usually don't go into late first, early second anyway. So I don't know. Will he get picked early? They usually don't get even the best look at the best one in the draft last year. Didn't get picked into the second round. These guys don't really get picked early. You might be as a Bengal be able to get him in the first round. Maybe you need to move up a little bit. But he would set that offense apart from where
I
it's
think
been.
Dallas. I think he's on Dallas's list. I think Dallas wants Bijan. He's from Texas. He plays like all of that. Like I think they're going to try to get him because they got.
I think so too. I think so too. But I think Cincinnati needs him more than Dallas. Dallas has Pollard already.
No. Absolutely. I just don't know if Cincinnati will be in the position to grab him. But be that as it may, in all perfect world, yes, he would be great there. I think you'd have Mixon take a pay cut and you keep him. The only reason why is because, one, the pay cut is so you can get more firepower, and he might understand that, wanting to actually win. Mm-hmm. And then, two, you want as many running backs as you can have on your team.
True.
That's what helped the Eagles last year. We had like 3 or 4 backs that we could just bring them in. That's a big thing. So to have more running backs in the stable, I think is a better option than just one. Or maybe 2, and it's a big drop off between the 2. You know what I mean? They need that depth. And that, even though I hate Dallas, Bijan is good with them because he's a good 1-2 with what's his name? The fast running back. He broke his leg last year in the playoffs.
Pollard.
Why am I blanking on his name? You know what I'm talking about. That running back.
You're talking about for Dallas, right? Pollard.
Yes, Pollard.
Yeah.
He's a good 1-2 punch because that's what you need as running backs now. You got to have that 1-2. Like back in the day, the Tecmo Bowl, when you had Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like on the Raiders, it was crazy. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I would do. I would keep them.
It was also Thurman Thomas and Kenneth Davis on the Bills was a big Tecmo Bowl tandem too. You know what? I look at it this way: for all the credit he gets as being a top back, he had 814 yards last year, only 3.9 per carry. He had 7 touchdowns, which is decent. Before those, we were in one game against Carolina. I feel like, especially with the 17th game, if you're not getting over 1,000 yards in a season, you're just a mediocre back. And I think that's where Cincinnati needs to do what they need to do to move up. And I think could you picture the offense is already good already with a back like Mixon? Could you imagine if they added a Bijan Robinson, who's probably the best back to come out in the draft in the last few years? I think he's going to be better than our guy Brees. I mean, and I love Brees, but I think he's better than Brees. Sorry,
I think it'll be.
How can you say that when he missed half the season and still led the Jets in rushing?
She got so upset. I just think Bijan. I like Bijan. You know what it is? I look at Brees. I like Brees coming out of college. He was the best back I thought coming out of college, and I was so ecstatic when we got him. I didn't think we were going to get him, but I think coming out into the draft, I think Bijan is better than I thought Brees was coming into the draft. So I look at it that way. I'm basing it on that. Listen, Brees is going to be a top top running back in the league for the next 5-6 years. I think Bijan Robinson is that same kind of guy, maybe a tick better.
Yeah, well, Mixon, going back to Mixon, I mean, he's also giving them he's in legal troubles as well. They just refiled his I was just reading, he's due in court April 19th. They just refiled his criminal charge of aggravated menacing. So I'm like, you're already kind of underperformed last year with the 800 yards. You're also giving us legal trouble. I think he can take a pay cut.
Oh, I think you could definitely get a pay cut just based on his performance. I would just move on from him altogether because I think he takes up a spot. But you know what? But Caleeb creates a good point with you're going to want depth. Keep him at least as your second back.
He's solid.
He's solid. He's just not. He's not an every down back.
Yeah.
Even though they try to play him off as such, he's not an every down back.
Well, the one thing I will say, it's a passing league now. So that may have a little something to do with why he didn't reach 1,000 yards. You know what I mean? But it is a passing league. But
you know what? To have a guy out of the backfield catch the ball, he doesn't really do. He can. He just doesn't. I think Bijan Robinson's even better at that than even Mixon is. Okay. So I would love to see him go after Bijan Robinson. I think that sets that offense up that much further. Katrina, thoughts?
Yep.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Quinnen Williams skips the start of workouts. We're not surprised. He needs a new contract. Abby, pay the man.
Pay the man. I've been saying this. It's not news that he was going to miss it. He said he wasn't going to go. Now, and then it's funny because I think what I was reading a mock deal. So 5 years, 130 million, 77.5 guaranteed, which comes out to about 26 million a year. I mean, dude had 12 sacks last year. He was when he was not in the game, the Jets missed him.
Yes.
Period.
Look at that Bills game.
And you know why? And you know why the Jets are dragging their feet? Because they're trying to conserve their pennies to get A-Rod. See, this is the thing that's happening. That's why. Because they need the money for Aaron Rodgers.
That's why I'm not worried. Figure out the quarterback, then he can be addressed. He's not going anywhere.
I also get Quinn Williams doesn't seem like the type of guy that's going to be like, I need every penny. Again, maybe that's me just looking too much, loving him too much as a player on my team. But there's something about him that I don't, from everything that he's said, from just his demeanor in general, he doesn't seem like the type of guy that's going to be like, I want every single penny. He's even said, listen, I don't need to get an Aaron Donald contract. He's already been quoted as saying that. He just wants to be paid fairly, which, and that's still going to, he's the best defensive tackle in the league. So to pay him fairly is going to be that kind of money. But he's already stated he doesn't need to get that. He wants just a fair contract.
And if we have Aaron Rodgers, he may take a little less because he knows
I think so too.
My Super Bowl chances go up.
And he's still going to get paid handsomely. He's still not going to, so. And he's playing with his brother. He's playing still here in New York, and his brother's just signed a 3-year deal. So
3-year deal, Quincy.
So
I like him.
I do too. I wish he would be a little bit better in coverage, but we'll see. He can always, that's something you can work on. You can fix that part of your game. So he's already knows how to hit, and he's a speedy back there. Just got to see him work on his coverage skills. All right, Ohio State offensive tackle Paris Johnson Jr. meeting with Eagles and Jets. That's our two teams, guys. And Katrina's a Raider, but for us, Caleeb, is that something that you want? Could you see them going?
Absolutely, it's paramount to have an offensive tackle, and you need an offensive line. It's like you pay Jalen all. I mean, you pay him all that money. You better protect him. That's the next thing. So you need a guy like that.
And the best place to do it is save a little bit of money, get a guy in the draft that can be a surefire starter for the next 10, 15
there
years.
There it is. Absolutely.
So,
I don't think he's going to be on the board for the Jets, though.
I think he'll be gone. I'm
like happy he met, but he'll be gone.
I like him better than Peter Skoronski from Northwestern. I think they're both going to be really good. I think he's going to be a little better. I think he's a little more agile. I see him a little more quicker. Skoronski's got more like that nasty kind of like demeanor, that old school, like mean kind of demeanor. But I think that Paris, what are you laughing at?
I just like it.
Paris, I think, is going to be more of the agile type of tackle. I'm willing to go into this season with the thoughts, okay, maybe our guys will be healthy. Because if healthy, we have a decent offensive line. If healthy, they just haven't been healthy. I'm willing to give the guys that are already there a chance to see if they can stay healthy. AVT might be one of the best guards in the league when healthy.
Oh, yeah.
We know I'm blanking on who's our tack. Becton had a great first year, subpar second year, then he was hurt. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and give him one more year to see what he can be.
I'm rooting for him this year, man.
He lost a lot of weight
for him.
He lost a lot of weight. Looks great. He's in great shape. So I wouldn't. I'm not looking. I know a lot of people say, "No, Jets got to add offensive line this year in the draft." And I think if you didn't know the offensive line of the struggles they had with injuries, I'd say I would agree with you. But being on the inside looking out, I get it. I think that there's a lot of guys that, if healthy, I'm willing to take the chance on them being healthy instead of wasting a pick that could go towards fixing another spot of our team. Like I said, I really would love Alan Branch, the safety out of Alabama, who I think could also he also plays corner too. So if you got a guy that versatile playing safety, and matching them up back there with I believe Whitehead's still there, and then those two corners that we already have, that's the best secondary in football. We already have a great line. Maybe we can fix our linebacking core in the second round because we do need to upgrade the linebacking core. But we already have like a top 5 defense. Could you imagine adding another stud safety and maybe a linebacker in the second round? Our defense
have to. The Jets' weakness is the second line, right? Which is the linebacker core.
Yep.
That's the only real weakness. And like you said, you add that safety who can play corner. That means he can play. He can match up well against these tight ends that all these teams are getting now. Yep. So because the safety guards the tight end. So if he's used to doing that, that's
Travis Kelce's of the world who are like almost impossible to guard. If he can guard him, that's that. And especially listen, we plan on doing something this year. we might see the Chiefs in the playoffs. That gives us that ability to be able to do something there. So, but yeah, we're up against over past 2:00, so we're actually at the end of the day. So let's go around and do our last words. Katrina, last words of the day.
I would like to meet a stud safety. He sounds hot.
Well, Katrina's all for so Branch, if you come to maybe go to the Raiders, if not the Jets. But but Katrina would like to say hello.
Mm-hmm.
Abby, last words, Abby.
I'm just praying we get the deal done with Aaron Rodgers, because draft day, if we don't have nothing done, I'm starting to think potentially moving on too. So Aaron Rodgers, please come our way.
Caleb, last words.
Yeah, spread love is the Brooklyn way, y'all. Have a wonderful day.
Guys, have a great today, a better tomorrow. And for Caleb, Abby, Katrina, I am Gene. We'll see you tomorrow, guys.
Bye.
That's the pop off for today, folks. Thank you to all of our listeners, as well as our producers, Patty Puddles and Fareed Kameo. And make sure you tune in tomorrow to hear what these hooligans will pop off about next.